15-10, 5, touchdown. Highland Community College hits their first score of the season. Comes in a big fashion. Kevin Brown showcasing the hot feet.
You know what time it is. Scotty Nation, stand up and represent the Navy and Gold as it's time to let everyone know this is Highland Community College.
He's under pressure again, shakes it, goes over the middle, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted, picked off by Darius Johnson. Hand off here and swallowed up and at the line of scrimmage. Great play there, great penetration by Hill, and he was able to eat up the ball carrier.
From the players who work hard and never quit.
Kearns drops back, flings it down the middle, caught by Jamison. He breaks free. He's at the 40. He turns on the jet, down to the 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Ronnie Jamison.
The coaches who strategize and game plan.
When you take that field today, you've got to lay that heart on the line.
From the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows.
And the fans who cheer.
And Walter gets the pressure. He's going to be right on and sacked in the backfield. Brought down by Lauren Young towards the end zone. Gray breaks it up at that time. Isaiah Gray with a great spectacular play down the middle, and it's caught. Touchdown, Scotties.
This is Highland Scotty football.
Game number 5 this season for Highland Community College. We welcome you to Kessinger Field today as we are ready for Highland's second home game of the season. Finally, some more home cooking for the Scotties. We'll see if it can help them out to get into the win column here today. The 2-2 Highland Community College Scotties host the 3-2 Butler Grizzlies here in this one, as it should be an interesting matchup between these two squads as it has been over the past few years. Expect this one to be a good one as these teams have played some tough, top-notch performances and tough contests throughout the course of their year. Both are actually coming off a loss. Highland had their second bye week and had to fester around, sitting around with that 13-10 double overtime loss, the tough one to Hutchinson on the road a couple of weeks ago. And, ultimately, they want to get back in the win column after that tough loss where offensively they had plenty of struggles. Butler's coming off a loss of their own, the 19th-ranked Grizzlies losing 36-30 against Garden City. Some self-inflicted situations that hurt them in that contest with turnovers, which have been a huge issue for Butler this year. Despite actually having a +2 turnover margin for themselves for Grizzlies, they've had a multitude of turnovers that have actually been turned in directly into points by their opponents. And, their 2 losses, basically, you can make the argument, were because of those turnovers. 5 interceptions thrown just last week in the loss to Garden City. And they had a fumble as well for 6 total turnovers. Back against Coffeyville, their other loss of the season, they had multiple turnovers in that one, 3 of which were directly turned into points themselves as well. A couple scoop and score fumble situations and an interception pick 6 too. Highland, they haven't maybe turned an interception or anything into scores, but offensively they haven't been able to score the ball for the Scotties as much as they would like to and move the ball against Hutchinson. They struggled there. Defensively, the Scotties, of course, lead the Jayhawk Conference. Points per game given up 15.3 yards total per game. They lead the conference in that capacity too, does Highland thus far this season, and defensively has been stout for the Scotties, even despite being without a few starters a few weeks because of some early targeting calls in the season. But Highland ultimately playing well on the defensive side of the ball, hoping to spice it up on the offensive side of the ball is the Scotties. They're going to go with the local product at quarterback. Tristan Spear getting the start today at quarterback today, so we'll see how Tristan can orchestrate the offense. He's well familiar with it, that's for sure. He's been around in the system and now the last couple of years being around Highland Community College football, and Tristan Spear will get the start today at quarterback. Some other changes will be no Kevin Brown, unfortunately, for Highland. KB is out with a knee injury and won't be able to see action today, and best wishes to Xavier Shepard as he broke his leg, unfortunately, against Hutchinson and will be out for the remainder of the season. Did learn that Shepard will get a medical red shirt for his eligibility moving forward, but his little wrinkle of Wildcat formations in those last couple of weeks now kind of maybe out of the equation, but we'll wait and see. Narcus Driver might get into that role as head coach Aaron Arnold kind of alluded to me earlier this week, and I chatted with him. We'll hear from Coach Arnold in just a moment here shortly. But last year, Highland took on Butler at Butler, 28-6 victory for the Grizzlies. Highland actually led 8-3 at the end of the first quarter, and a relatively even ball game when you dive into the statistics. I mean, yardage-wise, just about even, about 25 yards separated the two overall in the contest. And Tristan played well in that game, 11 of 16 for 105 yards passing for Spear in that game. Marquise Terry had a solid game with a rushing touchdown for the only score for the Scotties, but Butler had a strong game themselves. Ultimately, it was able to capture the victory, netted 4 or 5 field goals in that showdown, and Luke Winters, back kicking for them again this year, hit 4 of those field goals, and Butler's won 4 straight in the series. Last Highland win was 2013. Now, it was actually Butler's first loss at their new stadium back in 2013, a 23-21 affair. Last Highland win at Highland, of course, for the Scotties against Butler. They had to go back to 2006. An interesting story about that ball game was chatting with the Butler guys and broadcast crew. They were talking about remembering that ball game, and it was a muddy ball game, and it could be a muddy ball game in this one too. Field a little soppy and a little wet. Talked with Lane Spiker and William Solomon, the guys that kick, of course, punt and do the field goals and kickoffs for Highland, and they were talking about the field a bit squishy, and some water will come up when you plant your legs there on the kicking, so we might see a little bit of a muddy type of ball game, and it was muddy then back in 2006. That helped Highland to get a big time upset, one of the bigger upsets in Jayhawk Conference history, according to some. But that was the last Scotty victory over Butler here in Highland for that showdown. We're about 8 minutes away from kickoff, and we'll slip in a quick timeout. And when we come back from that break, we'll hear my interview with head coach Aaron Arnold when we return on the Scotty Sports Network.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Back on the pregame here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith now joined by Highland Community College football head coach Aaron Arnold. Coach, you had another bye week here this past week and had to kind of fester around after a loss in double overtime to Hutchinson, the last game that you played, but an opportunity to digest that and get better and focus on some things to improve. And I know some offensive struggles have happened, but how have the guys made some adjustments maybe this week in the bye week to get better and to continue to improve and get ready and gear up for this showdown against Butler this week?
Yeah, we seem to be making it a habit to take a heartbreaking loss and go sit on it for 2 weeks during our bye week, which I'd like to get out of that habit. But it's good for us. I think that the guys come into the bye week hungry and they're eager to get better and they want to fix the mistakes that we've made. And the Hutch game for us every year is always a very physical football game, just their style of play and our style of play. We always have guys banged up after that game, and they do too, I know. It's nice to get an extra week to recover and to get an extra week to prepare for a great team like Butler. And our guys have done a good job the past 2 weeks getting better and fixing some things, and I think they're really excited to play a really good football team this Saturday.
You mentioned getting banged up, and that game against Hutch definitely was a physical one, as you mentioned, and now losing a couple guys for foreseeable future going to change some things up for you. I mean, some other guys are going to have to step up and get some increased work and see some more time, and having this bye week obviously is going to be beneficial for them to maybe get more up to speed, get into the flow a little bit, to have that extra time to work.
Yeah, well, we lost our starting tailback and we lost our Wildcat quarterback, and those are two of our most dynamic, two of our best weapons on offense, and so, it hurts to lose those guys, but we're fortunate that we've got some good depth and we have some guys that are ready to step in and fill those roles. And like you said, it's a good timing because we did have 2 extra weeks. Dede Hull and Justin Ruiz at tailback have been splitting
We mentioned the offense, talked about it a lot, obviously, and making some adjustments as well. But I want to talk about the defense, too. I mean, obviously, the defense leads the Jayhawk Conference in points per game given up, just a little over 15. Leads the conference in total yards given up as well, and ranks several top 3 rankings in many other capacities. But I thought the defense has shown a lot of great progression over the course of the season, as a team and individually over the course of the year.
Yeah, we've got a really good defense this year. It definitely makes things easier as a play caller to know, I don't have to go score 40 points, but I got to score more than 3. They do a great job. The back half's really good. Our secondary is outstanding. Coach Gray does a great job getting those guys ready. Our linebacker group is as good of a linebacker group as we have ever had, maybe as we ever will have, and they do a lot of good stuff. We're not quite as deep on the D-line as we'd like to be, but we've got a good group in there that does a good job, and that defense always gives us a chance to be in every game.
When you look at this game against Butler, they're a pretty potent offense, lead the Jayhawk Conference in total yards per game, and near 400, I believe it is. But they've been able to move the ball, score some points this season. What do you look at when you see the Grizzlies, and what do you expect in this game?
Well, Butler's a national powerhouse football team. They're I don't know if they're ranked there right now, but in my opinion, they're one of the top 10 teams in the country, and they're always a very well-coached football team. Coach Schoffer does an unbelievable job just getting those guys to play hard. Their D-line is coached by a Hall of Famer, Coach Bratt. He does just a phenomenal job getting their defensive line ready to play, and Schoffer and Bratt always have that defense ready to play. Coach Benary, their offensive coordinator, I've been around Bryce for a long time. He was playing at K-State whenever I was coaching there, so I've known him for a long time. He's a really sharp mind, and Coach Weibert, their offensive line coach, same thing. I got to coach him whenever he was a player, and they've just done a tremendous job getting guys to play hard and go out and do their job. And the one thing you always know when you play is you better be ready to go for 60 minutes, because they're not going to let up. They're going to play as hard as they can from start to finish, and they're always a handful.
Yeah, they've had some tough matchups, losing last week to Garden City, but of course any matchup in the Jayhawk Conference, as we've chronicled, is a tough matchup on a week in and week out basis. And when you look at this game, you look back to last year, a tight affair between you and the guys with Butler, and ultimately you led at the end of the first quarter, but they ultimately went on to get the victory in that showdown. Anything particular you remember from that game that you might need to do differently this time around?
I think last year I left that game feeling like I got out-coached. I think that their game plan was better than ours was, and as a coach, you don't ever want to say that, but, that's the truth of the matter. They really forced me to look at what I'm doing offensively and what we're doing schematically and make some adjustments and make some changes, and that's what happens when you play against great teams, and, you get embarrassed a little bit, and it forces you to improve, and we're excited for a challenge this week. I think historically, it's not a team that loses back-to-back very often, if they ever have. It's been a long time, so they're going to be ready. They're going to be a really good football team, and they're going to come and give us all they've got.
Coach, I know it'll be good to be home, to have your second home game of the season, as 3 of the first 4 were on the road, but best of luck in the matchup against Butler, and hopefully you and the guys can get that another W for you, in the contest.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate it.
Highland Community College football head coach Aaron Arnold here on your pregame on the Scotty Sports Network. We'll break down the game a little further when we come back for your pregame and get ready for kickoff here on the Scotty Sports Network.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland's new Precision Agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Ready to roll here in Highland, Kansas. This is 61 degrees at kickoff here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here. 16-mile-an-hour wind out of the west. We'll have to watch that in the kicking game along with the field conditions as well, as that's been a thing that at least the guys that I talked to, the kickers, kicker and punter for Highland, and Lane Spiker and William Solomon, they talked about the field conditions to me before the contest. We'll talk about it more in depth as we get rolling into into the contest. Highland won the toss. They selected to defer, so they'll kick it off. They'll be in the white pants, dark blue tops, and yellow numerals on the jerseys with the dark blue helmets, the yellow stripe down the middle, and the yellow H donned on the helmet. They'll go left to right across your screen for tonight's matchup. And Butler will have the purple pants on tonight, white tops, purple shoulders with the goldish trim, purple numerals as well, and gold domes for the Butler Grizzlies. Butler has Chris Helbig, the sophomore from Colorado, at the quarterback spot, but he's a Colorado transfer as well. He was with the Buffs as a preferred walk-on, I believe. Came into Butler, though, and has been the quarterback, but he's been struggling. He threw 5 interceptions last week, and according to reports, he's on a short leash today. So maybe Highland's defense can cause Helbig to cough up some more turnovers and take advantage of them. Highland actually try to get some more turnovers in their favor, have a negative turnover margin to the Scotties. Butler has given up defensive scores a multitude of times. A couple last week, a few pick sixes and fumble recovery return for touchdowns already this year as well. End over end is Solomon kicking it, and it's actually misplayed. Butler will field it just inside the 10 and run right into the middle of a big-time group of just a massive guys. Deron Lowe ended up with the ball back there, but he was ultimately seated pinball off of the first guy that was trying to grab it and sent backwards in that scenario. Lowe picked it up around the 9, scampered ahead for a minimal return, and the ball will start around the 17. So we'll see what we can do here for Butler on the first offensive drive. As I mentioned, Helbig over 1,000 yards passing, 62% completion percentage, 11 touchdowns, but 7 interceptions, which is the most in Jayhawk Conference play. They'll hand it off to open things up. He gets some open space. He's up to the 30-yard line, and he's pushed out of bounds. First down and more. Isaiah Gray will push the ball carrier out of bounds. And Kevon Abrams, the leading rusher in the Jayhawk Conference, rushes off for a big-time run. And a quick play there that time by Abrams on the initial play of the contest. 15-yard scamper by Abrams. As I mentioned, he's the leading rusher in the Jayhawk Conference, second best yard per carry average behind only Kevin Brown of Highland, who's again out with the knee injury for the rest of the season. Helbig's going to hand it off again, and slipping to the ground, Lauren Young in the vicinity of that, but right now just Abrams really slips, falls to the seat of his pants, back on the line of scrimmage, and that will be for second down. Field conditions are sloppy. The guys were telling me before the game, especially in the middle of the field, that once you kind of push your feet down into the field, puddles will come up, and a little bit muddy it could be for today. And it comes to fruition in the second play of the game that some slippage happens for Butler. Butler in the shotgun. Helbig's going to hand this off again. Bounces off, tackle to the near side. Ball's up for grabs, and it looked like it was on the ground. Actually, he's able to hold on to it. I thought it may have came loose for the moment. Kendrick Caddis in on the tackle. Minimal gain on second down of about 3 by Abrams again, who's going to probably carry a workload today, you would think. 80 carries, 3rd and 7 after the 3-yard gain by Abrams, again, who leads the Jayhawk Conference in rushing yards per game this season with 122 per contest. Highland, though, leads the conference in points per game given up, 15.3 points per game, and total yards per game given up as well. Ranks in the top 3 in several other capacities, too, on the move, and Highland's going to be called for a penalty. This will be defensive offsides, most likely. Jumping at the snap there was Jamal Winter up front on the line, but he didn't get back, that's for sure, before the ball was snapped. But did it happen because of a false start on the flip side for Butler? So we'll wait and see the first penalty and yellow of the contest. You look after Abrams, for Butler, it's pretty balanced all around in this one, all around. So it is going on Highland as the defensive offsides will make it a more manageable third down. No automatic first down in this situation, but now it's only 2 yards to gain for the chain mover as the penalty marked off, and it was a 5-yard variety. So 3rd and 2, ball at the 41-yard line of Butler. Helbig takes it and hands it off again. Abrams bounces out with a stiff stiff arm. He's got some open space. He's going to get to midfield. Still up there, and he slips again, and he falls down at the 45-yard line of Highland. Abrams got the edge, got a nice stiff arm as well from himself, got open, and was able to find some green space, and he slips once more, but not until he's got the first down. They're going to mark him actually back at the 46 on the run of 13 yards by Abrams, who continues to churn out some good yardage. And Butler on the road here at Kessinger Field in Highland, on the move on the very first offensive drive of the contest. Split wide receiver to the near side. Guy that's had a good year at wide receiver, Garrett Prince. He's got 5 touchdown passes thus far this season on 15 receptions. 1 lone receiver over to the far side. 3 backs in the backfield. 1 directly behind Helbig as well. The option pitch here. This one a little bit off to Abrams again. He'll be wrangled and wrestled down by the Scotties with a quick opportunity. Jeremiah Hill, leading tackler on the Scotties team. 11th best guy total tackles wise in the Jayhawk Conference. 12 minutes to go in the first quarter. Butler driving on the first offensive drive. 4-yard gain by Abrams, who's carried the workload of this drive. All plays have went his way. No attempts at the air, and they average 218 yards per game. Aerial assault does the Grizzlies, and they lead the Jayhawk Conference with nearly 400 yards per game of offense. Straight up to shoot, Lauren Young, and a pile of a tsunami of everybody that's on top of that one. Like playing rugby, that scrum situation where everybody just converges in one little pile, and gain of about 1 to 2 yards by Abrams again. Now 3rd and 4, big third down for Highland in their own territory as Butler ball on the 40. Highland had their full complement of defensive players for the really first time for a whole entire game against Hutchinson. And they played extremely well in that contest. Here's the fake. They option it, and they toss it off to the far side. Great play, and it's an open field tackle that took the edge away, as that was awesome by Dom Williams out there. Also, Trey Barrett bringing him down on the ball carrier. Vinny Shabazz was the guy that got the pitch from Helbig, the quarterback, but brings up 4th down. Ball actually lost a yard, so it's back on the 41, excuse me. Helbig goes in on 4th down. Man in motion comes across, and they'll go do this punt. It's a quarterback punt. And I was noticing some odd things, with the punting statistics with Butler, but Helbig actually is going to punt it himself. Multiple guys have lined up with the punt. It was down before it went out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. So Highland, though, stands steadfast after a heavy dosage of Kevon Abrams, the leading rusher in the Jayhawk Conference. It's ultimately Highland forcing the Butler punt. Scotties take over for the first time in this contest, as they will have it with 10:31 in the first quarter of action. Tristan Spear getting the start. Tristan Spear, of course, with the great amount of experience that comes back with the opportunities that he's had here. Kyle Kearns had been the quarterback for the last few weeks. Both got opportunities against Dodge City in the showdown. 22-yard line. As here comes Spear. Well, this season, he's just 16 of 24, 94 yards, a touchdown and interception. Last year, threw for nearly 430 yards and 4 scores and 4 INTs. Willie Jordan takes the handoff, but he's wrapped up by his ankles and brought down pretty quick, as Jordan gets a minimal gain, maybe of 1 or so, but not much doing it there in that situation. Charles Cole looked like was in on the tackle up front, but Scotties looking to get an offensive drive. Sun's peeking out now after rainy days. It's been the last couple days and drenched us here in northeast Kansas with plenty of rain. Ronnie Jameson will be in the slot. Trey Willis split out to the near side as well. 1 lone receiver over to the far side. High snap. Spear takes it, gives it off, and now hand off straight up the middle. Good job by Jordan. Lowers his shoulder, and he takes a couple of guys for an extra yard, as Willie Jordan's tough grind out run is going to migrate the ball all the way to the 30-yard line with 9:40 to play here in this first quarter on the offensive drive. Just short of the 30-yard line, they mark it, and quickly they get it back to Jordan. Jordan, though, hit quickly, trying to spin alive. He stays up, and he's going to stretch out all the way to the far sideline, but he never got the edge to turn it upfield, and that's going to bring up fourth down. Scotty's pushed out of bounds around their own 30-yard line, and just like that, going to be a 3-and-out situation for Highland. Not the way they want to start offensively. Struggled offensively against Hutchison, mustering only 141 total yards of offense. That was their lowest since 2014 on September the 13th that year against Iowa Western. Lowest in a single game. Lane Spiker out there set to punt this away. He talked about the footing for the field to me before the contest. We'll see if he's able to get this one off cleanly. He is. A nice spiral. This one's going to have to send the ball, or the receiver on the punter return backwards. Great open field tackle as well by Highland. Not much return. A gain of maybe 2 to 3 yards on the return, but Raekwon Price getting the tackle on special teams, and a great punt by Spiker on that one to send Butler back. And they'll start on the 27-yard line. So offensively, not much doing there for the Scotties on their first offensive drive. What will Butler do now the second time around? Heavy dosage of Kevon Abrams. Twin receivers to the near side. Brady Rust in now at quarterback. He's a Derby, Kansas product, and more often not than he runs the ball, and he does that. He faked the throw, but quickly just into the run opportunities. More of a wildcat type of guy is what I've been told from Rust, and he's able to run off about a 3 to 4 yard gain on first down. We could see 3 different quarterbacks for both teams today at any different juncture, depending on how things shake out. Brady Rust will stay in, the sophomore from Derby, helping lead the Derby Panthers to a state championship during his time frame in high school. Not much doing. He has completed 2 passes, the only 2 he's attempted, but more often than not, he runs the ball. And, of course, he took it on first down for the gain, setting up second down in this situation and 6. Handoff here to the fullback, and that one will be pushed back there. Jordan Dole will be brought down. Jeremiah Hill, Darius Johnson help finish off the play. The linebacker Hill brings him down, but now sets up 3rd and 5. Quick 3-and-out from Highland's defense would be ideal in this situation, and come out with stout performance again. Caddis Hill and Rico Hanna have helped spearhead what the Scotties have done on the defensive side of the ball. Guys up front, some of the guys recently getting some new offers from D1 schools. Helbig goes in the shotgun, tries to get him jump offside. Here to the handoff outside. Abrams pushed out. It's going to be close to the first down. I think he'll have it by just a nose. The ball will be marked ahead of the 35 to the 37. And based on where it is from the nose of the ball, just ahead of the hash mark on the 37-yard line, that will be enough for a first down. And Butler moves the ball with Abrams again. Abrams has been all the offense so far for the Butler Grizzlies. Not much other guys have touched the ball. Rust had 1 run. Dole had 1 run on this drive. But they'll go 3 backs in the backfield. Directly behind the quarterback, Helbig, is Abrams. 2 backs offset to each side of Helbig. Now Abrams going to bounce it out. Now actually, excuse me, Isaiah Truss. Truss keeps the carry here. That was Truss coming in instead of Abrams in the backfield. And no gain for Truss, who's 31 totes and 100+ yards on the season. I mentioned Vinny Shabazz, who also run. They also had a couple other guys that have, significant carries, 18 or more. Jaquan Daniels not going to play today, but he's been in the mix. Kayshawn McGaw as well. So they got a lot of guys that will run out of that backfield. A lot of guys that have made impacts offensively throughout the course of the season too. Helbig going to pass to the flat. It's going to be caught. Nice tackle that time. Isaiah Gray undercuts the pass catcher, Isaiah Truss, as Truss calls that in, but it's actually going to go backwards again, and a couple of negative plays by Highland's defense, putting the Grizzlies and pinning them back on a 3rd and long situation. So Isaiah Truss hauling that in, but again, Isaiah Gray at the cornerback spot for Highland, coming up with a great tackle for loss, which will be his 2nd. He had 1.5 tackles for loss coming into today. 17 tackles overall for the corner, and the sophomore from Georgia. Helbig, two backs actually now to his right side, but he has to call a timeout. 5:26 to go in this first quarter of play, and nothing contest it is between these two teams. As we'll take a quick 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll be ready for more action here on the Scotty Sports Network.
College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Butler uses the early timeout here with 5:26 to go in the first period. Scoreless contest as Highland's defense performing well. Butler's defense performing well, forcing the 3-and-out against Highland. Windy day, the winds coming in from the west is behind the back of Highland at the moment, but only to play a factor today, nonetheless, you would think, as far as that capacity goes. 61 degrees, winds 16 mile an hour today for that. We'll see if that plays a factor in the kicking game, and we'll see, the also field condition capacity too, which has played a little bit of a factor on a couple of Abram runs. He's slipped, but set up 3rd and long, and now has the Grizzlies 13 yards to gain to get the first down. Helbig, 3-step drop, now under pressure, and he gets hit, and he's going to stay alive for a moment. There's a penalty flag. The pass is complete, but not going to get close to the first down at all. Ball came loose, but he is ruled down after the completion to Josh Wilkes, and I think the penalty is going to be on Butler, perhaps for holding in the backfield. Lauren Young nearly had a sack, along with one of his teammates. Were just on the precipice of bringing Helbig down, and Helbig stayed alive for the moment. So we'll wait and see what the White Hat initially signals here from this showdown. And, of course, Highland now being asked if they want to accept the penalty. It would be 4th down if they don't accept it and take the completion, but it looks like they're going to back them up here in this scenario. A little windy. You can't really hear the update of the referee, but holding is the call. Indeed it was what I exactly thought it might have been, to avoid the sack for Helbig, but you take the 10-yard penalty on the hold, and now that forces it to be 3rd and 23 for Butler. Ball is, of course, now inside the 25 to the 24-yard line, so big 3rd and 23, and Highland can stop them here, maybe get some good field position on an opportunity for this punt, because Butler will be punting into the wind, and needless to say, their punting numbers isn't exactly spectacular. They average less than 30 yards per punt. Helbig's just going to be safe, hands this off, and just runs straight up the middle. It's Isaiah Truss as he gets up to the 30-yard line, but again, not nearly enough. When needed 23 yards to gain, he got about 5, and here comes the punting unit on for Butler. Punting unit has struggled this year, just having punts of 30 yards, not even actually 30, 28.8 if you want to be exact on those numbers. So we'll see, punting into the wind too. That's on top of that. You look at how this one might come to fruition. Isaiah Gray might have an opportunity to make a big run. He hasn't been, running much back. 7 attempts and only averaging about 15 yards on average to return. He had a 44-yard one, a low line drive one that's going to hit right around the 40, take a Highland bounce, but be downed just ahead of the 40-yard line at the 41. So Highland will have some good field position. They do mark it at the 40, so 10 yards away from midfield. Highland will have this offensive drive, their second opportunity in the offensive capacity. We're 3-and-out, did Highland in the first time. Highland's averaging 23.3 points per game, 93 total points scored this year, nearly 300 yards of offense on the season. Spear back in at quarterback. Willie Jordan's the back directly behind him. Twin receivers to the far side. Lone receiver to the near side, Albert Howard. Left to right across your screen. Jamison goes in motion. High snap. Spear gets it. Now hands it off to Jordan. Jordan's got some space. He's going to get to midfield. Cuts back. He's got the first down. Now he comes down to the 40-yard line. First down, Scotties. Nice job by Willie Jordan to get that big-time run.
That's good for Scotties.
Willie Jordan gets up to the 40-yard line and sets up a first down in Butler territory. First down of the game for Highland in this showdown.
40-yard line.
Spear back in the shotgun again. Spear, heady player, of course, Troy Trojan product, and helped guide the Trojans into the playoffs. And here's Jordan again, straight up the middle, gets away from an ankle tackle, shakes free, he's up to the second level of the defense, and he's going to get close to the first down again. Back-to-back big runs by Willie Jordan, as he was wrestled down in that play by Tyler Davis. But ultimately, that's a 9-yard gain by Jordan. Back-to-back good runs by Jordan. As that 9-yard run just moments ago comes after a 20-yard scamper by Jordan to get the initial first down. 2nd and 1. 3:28 to play in the first quarter. Still scoreless. And quick whistle. Butler wants another timeout. They want to try to corral the troops again. A couple of timeouts already used by the Butler Grizzlies here on the road at Kessinger Field. We'll see what they want to do on the defensive side of the ball this time around, as we'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network, Highland football, as they take on Butler.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Food and more.
Highland driving after back-to-back Willie Jordan runs of 20 and 9 yards. The Scotties on the Butler 32. So Scotty's on the Butler 32-yard line here on their second offensive drive of the game. 3:25 left to go in the first quarter of play. See a new quarterback in. Driver out there. Narcus Driver going to have a little wildcat formation, but Driver pretty much going to be negated in any situation that he wanted. And he's going to get maybe back to the line of scrimmage, actually lose a yard on the play. Driver taking over that role from Shepard, who suffered the broken leg against Hutchison. I did talk to X before the contest, said he didn't have to have surgery, so going to let it heal on its own, but a double break in his leg, unfortunate for him. But now Driver going to move from tight end, where he was previously playing, to quarterback spot, and be a little bit of a wildcat situation for him. Tristan Spear back in now at quarterback for the Scotties. Willie Jordan the back in the backfield. Twin receivers to the far side. Lone receiver to the near side is Willis. Jamison and Howard split out to the far side. 3rd and 3 with just over 3 minutes to play in the first. Ball on the Butler 33. Jamison goes in motion to the near side. Spear drops back, 3-step drop, going to the far sideline, airs that up, and it sails over the head of an intended target, Howard, and out of play. Running out of real estate was Howard for an opportunity to haul that pass in. As Albert Howard has started to play better in the last couple of games. 9 catches for 79 yards on the season. And Highland will be going for it on 4th down, no doubt about this here. Didn't waste much time to get rolling back there with the incomplete pass. The clock stops at 2:49. Sun's peeked out. The blue skies we can now see after a gray, dreary day yesterday. Rainfall making the field a bit muddy and a little squishy as well for everybody to work with. As Spear drops back to pass, and that's going to be intercepted. Wide open there for no one really to come after him except Spear. Spear dives and he gets the saving tackle for what could have been a touchdown. Wow, great interception by Will Honus, the middle linebacker for Butler, but I don't know if Spear even saw him, as Honus, the Wichita, Kansas native, he's been a great player for Butler thus far this season, but the interception is a big one on a 4th down play, and well, that gets Butler in prime field position for themselves. Butler will get set up here with 2:40 left to play in the first. And Helbig will come back in at quarterback. Again, I mentioned he's had his own fair share of problems with turnovers. Hands this one off to Shabazz, and Shabazz will go straight up the chute for a gain of about 4 yards. Shabazz actually out of Olathe, Kansas, I was told broke a lot of Darren Sproul's records at one of the Olathe high schools. Darren Sproles, of course, K-State Wildcat, NFL player. 2:20 and counting as the clock continues to churn in the first period. And it's second down and about 6 for Butler after the Spear interception. The Grizzlies in an opportunity. Shabazz gets that one wrangled in by Lauren Young, though. Got into the backfield pretty quick as Young was able to bring him down, and also joining him, Hunter Port. No, that was actually Darius Johnson.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Here's Johnson along with Lauren Young in on the tackle after a Shabazz 1-yard gain. And that sets up third down. Big third down right now. If you can stop Butler here, force them to perhaps try to go for a field goal in this situation. Ball's inside the 25-yard line, around the 23, where it's marked at right now. Helbig's going to hand it off again. Here's Shabazz once more. Straight up the chute again, close to the 20-yard line, but it's going to be short of the first down and bring up fourth down. Jeremiah Hill, Kendrick Caddis in on the tackle, along with a pile of others.
We've got 4th and 3.
4th and 3, and long 2 if you want to be a little more generous for half the ball. But 4th down and 3. Butler gets the call from the play on the far sideline. Looks like they're going to go for it, not going to trot out the field goal unit in this situation. Big situation on 4th down. Will Highland come up with a stop? Here's Shabazz again, and he's going to pinball his way around, get close to the first down, brought close, and it looks like it's going to be a first down. Highland hoping to keep him just by a nose back from the chain mover, but from the eyeball point of view, it looked like a first down, and they do call it that. So first down by Butler. Shabazz now being the workhorse on this drive after a great heavy dosage of the ball carrier Abrams. Receivers split out to each side. Shabazz is the back directly behind the quarterback Helbig again. He's going to get the handoff straight up the chute. Little gap open for a moment, but that was quickly taken away. Mario Dungy in on that tackle. Dungy, I believe, getting an offer from Abilene Christian recently for himself. Run game has been what Butler's went with here so far. They've averaged on this season nearly 180 on the ground so far this season. And that will do it for the first quarter of action as Butler on the move after the interception thrown by Tristan Spear, returned in towards the red zone. Well, they're in the red zone now. Butler is at this opportunity, and they'll continue that drive when we return to the second quarter of action as you're watching on the Scotty Sports Network for Highland Community College football.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Well, we head into the second quarter of action as Butler switches sides of the field in this one, but ultimately on the move because of a Tristan Spear interception, setting up this short field for the Butler Grizzlies. Scoreless contest as we head into second stanza of the day. Chris Helbig, who's had his turnover issues himself, has been able to hold on to the ball today for Grizzlies. They've been able to run the ball pretty effective They go for a man in motion from the near side. Here's Shabazz again, who's been carrying the load this time. Little shoestring tackle. He gets away from that. Isaiah Gray got his feet, and then that kind of maybe just kind of changed his run pattern enough that Jeremiah Hill and the rest of the crew could finish him off. Javon Jones in on that tackle as well for Highland, but brings up 3rd and 1, and the ball just on the 10-yard, just inside the 10-yard line. 14:30 left to play in this first half. Helbig in the shotgun, and Shabazz again will get the handoff. He'll go straight up the middle and runs right into a pile of guys. Jakeem Green helping lead the way, but it's a first down. You got a yard needed to move the chains, plus a couple more on top of that. And right now, knocking on the doorstep with a 1st and goal. Ball coming and being marked at the 8-yard line. Actually, about the 7-yard line, excuse me. So 1st and goal from the 7. As this drive all coming from the opportunity from the interception from Tristan Spear. Helbig will go in the shotgun. Receiver split out to each side. Shabazz is the running back again, and he gets it once more. Why not? You've been feeding him quite a bit, but he runs right into a wall of Scotty defenders. Great tackle by Rico Hanna. Hanna squared him up and brought him down as the clock continues to churn down. 13:30 to go in the first half. 2nd and goal. Gain of 1, so the ball at the 6. Scotty's seeing that ultimately you got to come up with a defensive stop in the red zone. Scotty's given up scores 8 of the 16 times teams have been in the red zone. Plenty of time, throws into the corner, and incomplete. Isaiah Gray breaks up the pass. It would have probably been incomplete as it would have been out of bounds. Here's it was incomplete to the near corner of the end zone. Isaiah Gray in on coverage of that to Garrett Prince, who's caught 5 touchdown passes on the season, but not going to catch a 6th on that play. Highland keeps it scoreless at the moment, setting up 3rd and goal from the 6. And twin receivers to the near, one receiver to each side. Now they go all man in motion. Here's the option pitch to Shabazz. Shabazz gets it open. He leapfrogs one guy, and he's going to be knocked down around the 5. And brings up about a couple-yard gain. So it was on the 7, so a couple-yard gain there is going to be now ball on the 5. 4th and goal, and it looks like the field goal unit might be trotting onto the field. A couple of blocks on field goals this year Highland has had. 2 blocks on field goals, 1 on an extra point. So maybe they can come up with a big play like that yet again. Luke Winter in. He's 3 for 4 on field goals, his longest of 44 yards this season. This is just going to be about 22 yards from the 12-yard line. Kick is up, and kick is no good. Off to the left. Highland holds steadfast. The interception doesn't result in points for the Grizzlies. Big time play there for Highland's defense to force the field goal, and then the miss. Now 3 of 5 is Winter on the season in the field goal capacity for the Grizzlies now here this year, with 12:25 left to go in this first half. Butler misses a 22-yard field goal. So the 22-yard field goal missed, and ultimately Highland will take the ball over. So ball get on the 20-yard line after the turnover on downs, really in that situation after the missed field goal. Tristan Spear in the shotgun, fakes the handoff to the motion man, now hands it off to the new running back in D.D. Hall. And nice job by D.D. to take his first carry of the day for a gain of a couple. D.D. Hall, Justin Ruiz hoisted into more opportunities for themselves as freshmen. Ruiz from Georgia, Hall from South Carolina. Between the two, only had 9 carries. No score yet. We're under 12 minutes to play in the first half. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith alongside with you here, streaming on the World Wide Web. Spear in the shotgun, and going to put this into the breadbasket of Hall. Bouncing out on the near side. Didi's got some open space. He's up to the 35, now to the 40, and be pushed out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Didi Hall with some hot feet down there. A little walk in the sideline as well, and getting his blockers in front of him. He set up a few blocks down the field, and he was able to utilize that for a few more yards after he got the edge. And Didi Hall with the big run of 22 yards gets Highland a first down 5 yards away from midfield. So Didi Hall with the 22-yard run. .45-yard line. And that's where Highland will set this up here. Jamison goes in motion, motions to the far side. Spear looking to pass, rolling out to the far side now, and he brings it down, and he's going to, he didn't get rid of it. He tried to get rid of it maybe, but he just held on, and he's going to be quarterback sacked in the backfield. Will Honus had the interception, and he gets the quarterback sack for himself as well on that one on this drive. Spear tried to go with it. He was looking downfield. He had Jamison in the flat, but he wanted to go farther down the field, get the bigger play, but now Tristan Spear goes down instead on the quarterback sack. So Tristan Spear, loss of 7 yards on the Will Honus sack, who's had a good, strong defensive day. It's the second sack of the year, mind you, as well. And Spear in the shotgun formation. Here's the second down play. And ball is about second and 17. Spear drops, goes over to the near side, and outstretched hands of Ronnie Jamison off that fingertips of him. He had to dive for it. Kind of had that Superman dive, but Spear led him a little bit too far out. And an incomplete pass leads to a 3rd and long for Highland. Tristan last year completed 34 of 65 passes, played in 8 games as a quarterback for Highland. Last year against Butler was 11 of 16 for 105 yards. They only got 1 touchdown in that game to Highland. Trying to get on the board here. Scoreless contest after Butler missed a field goal from 22 yards out. Spear to the flat, gives it off to Didi Hall. He gets away from a tackle, but he's going to slip, and that's going to allow a couple different Butler Grizzlies to get on top of him. Jaleel Aldridge in on the tackle, along with Jacoby Jones, bringing down Didi Hall after just a minimal gain. And 4th and a long here, almost 4th and 20 nearly. That is going to bring in the punting unit. Butler operating left to right across your screen. Highland set this one in motion by the punter Lane Spiker, Highland, Kansas native. Had a good punt earlier in this contest. Came in averaging 35.1 yards per punt. Takes a high snap here, gets some pressure, but he gets it off cleanly. And it'll take a Scotty bounce, but be down inside the 45-yard line to about the 43. And that's where Butler sets up shop now in this one. So the Highland turnover doesn't hurt the Scotties early on in this one after the missed field goal by Butler. And Scotties then got the ball after the missed field goal. Got a really good run by Didi Hall of 22 yards, but not much else doing on that offensive drive after that. So we'll see what they can do now here in this one. Don't forget you can check out ScottyAthletics.com for all the latest in Highland sports. Here's a handoff by Helbig. Straight up the gut it goes. I think that was back to Abrams, who's come back on the field. Abrams, again, we expect him to tout the ball quite a bit, and I think he's carried the ball a multitude of times already. Just looking at it right now, that looks like it is his 7th carry of the ball game. Shabazz actually has 10 carries on the contest as well, but heavy dosage of the run. They've only attempted 2 passes as Butler. Been run, and been able to successfully move the ball in that sense as well. Receivers split out to each side. One load back in the backfield to Helbig's right in the sidecar motion. The cadence gets Highland to move, but they get back before the snap happens. Helbig goes to the flat, and he throws it out of bounds. An incomplete pass, John Bruner. It was the intended target. Would have been about a 2 to 3 yard gain. I mean, good coverage out there by the linebacker Kendrick Caddis and DB Dom Williams. Highland not going to give up much offensively to their opponents. They rank second best in rush yards and pass yards per game. Total yardage per game given up, they're number 1 in the Jayhawk Conference. Man in motion is Bruner. There's the handoff in the backfield, though, as Abram cuts back. He's up to the second level, gets some space. He's past midfield. He's now to the 40-yard line, and he goes out of bounds just ahead of the 40-yard line for the first down, all the way down to the 38-yard line. Butler gets the big first down run by Abrams, who shot his way around. 5'9", 190-pound sophomore from Pensacola, Florida. Jayhawk Conference leading rusher on the season. Gets Butler a first down and into Scotty territory. Abrams again squirts through the hole and gets it to the second level. Little fisticuffs afterwards between a couple of guys away from the play. There's a penalty flag that comes in after the play late. Stemming from the I'm sure extracurricular activities. Abrams, by the way, on the run gets about 6 yards, it looks like, on the first down run. See what the penalty is called. You hope it's not against Highland, because you usually get the second guy, and I feel like the Scotties were the second guy in that situation, and the two teams, getting that. De facto timeout, but I didn't see a timeout called between the two teams, so I'm not sure what they're conversing about.
Number 3, a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic first down.
If he didn't understand what he said, it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty flag on Dom Williams, a 15-yard penalty. And just an unfortunate turn of events all around for the Scotties. Give up a nice gain on first down to Butler. On top of that, you add 15 yards because of the unsportsmanlike conduct. And again, it goes always, they ticket the guy, the second guy in that scenario. And unfortunately for Highland, it was Dom that was the guy that got the whistle and the penalty flag upon himself. So they mark off the yardage, and we're going to go into the red zone now for Butler. Highland with that red zone stop of Butler previous, now 8 of 17 their opponents are on opportunities in the red zone. 5 touchdowns and 3 field goals during those 8 conversions of opportunities in the red zone by Highland's opponents. So 1st and 10 inside the 20 up to about the 17-yard line, and 8:21 on the clock in the first half. Scoreless contest, but Butler back in the red zone for the second consecutive drive. They call for the man in motion is Bruner, and here's the handoff to Abrams. Abrams bounces in between the guard and the tackle on the left side and got engulfed quickly. Trey Barrett comes up from his safety spot quickly to get that, and there's a penalty flag right around the line of scrimmage. And minimal gain as well, maybe of 1 yard, if any. But penalty flag came flying in just off to the right of that play. Butler's pointing over to Highland, but Highland as well pointing the other way.
Personal foul, hands to the face, 52 defense. That's the difference to the goal.
Highland gets another penalty on them, personal foul, hands to the face. And now it's 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. 1st and goal from the 8 after 2 huge penalties on Highland on this drive. Scotties has been pretty good penalty-wise and haven't been plagued by the penalties thus far this season too much, averaging 6.8 penalties per game and 75 total penalty yards this season. Butler's been plagued by penalties a lot more, 95 yards per game. Abrams trying to bounce it out. Great open field tackle in the backfield that time. Nice play by Jeremiah Hill.
43,
and Amadou Fofana as well in that play. I thought it was Hill, but it was Fofana actually with the tackle. Loss of 2. 2nd and goal from the 10. As a loss of 2 by Abrams on that run. But I mentioned Butler has been penalized a lot. 10 penalties per game, and actually averaged the 2nd most penalty yards against them per game this season in the Jayhawk Conference. Helbig goes in the shotgun. Lone back at the backfield is Shabazz. Receivers split out to each side. Penalty flag flies. This is probably on Butler. Shabazz gets upended as Trey Barrett upends him inside the 5 down to around the 3. But I have a feeling this is a false start on on Butler, and the Grizzlies will be moving backwards instead of that positive run. 7:15 to go in the first half. It is on the Grizzlies, it looks like. False start indeed, and the White Hat signals that it will move back 5 yards and redo second down and goal. Instead of being inside the 10, it's now at the 15.
After the penalty, the Grizzlies will have.
That's ideal for Highland in this situation because the Scotties want to move them backwards here in this one. Looking to try to pull things together for themselves is Highland. Make another defensive stop in the red zone. Helbig goes in the shotgun. Receiver split out each side. Shabazz, the running back, behind him. And then he gets the handoff, and he's going to be swallowed up by Highland's defensive line. Multiple guys in on the tackle. Mario Dungy
Making time number 45, Mario
getting the
Dungy.
big tackle, and Jakeem Green helping finish the play. But Mario Dungy getting in the backfield that time. No gain on the play. Third and goal from the 15. Big third down right now here. You can stop them. Minimal gain. Maybe you see the field goal unit come back on. Or maybe the doubt is in the mind of the Grizzlies with the field goal unit after that miss from 22 yards out earlier. Third and goal from the 15. Helbig takes a snap, play action pass, looks over, and he's going to throw that one. There's a penalty flag as that flies out there. There was some bump in the coverage, and I think they're going to call Dom Williams. And that was just over the head of the intended target as well. Garrett Price, who was looking, or Prince, excuse me, was looking in the vicinity there, but Dom Williams upset how this call might go is against him. I thought Prince was actually the guy that ran into Williams. Initial unintentional contact between the two.
Pass interference, defense number 3.
Pass interference call it will be on Dom Williams, and that's a third big penalty on this drive. And you had a third and goal from the 15. Now it's first and goal from the 2. First and goal from the 2, and 3 big penalties on this drive. And Highland almost got away with maybe not giving some points in that situation. Well, unfortunately, they get the pass interference call, and you might argue is a questionable one, but that's the way the call went. Here's Abrams. He's going to be stood up and pushed backwards. He still kept his legs churning, but Lauren Young in the backfield. Young has been a beast at defensive end. 6.5 tackles for loss. He gets another one in that scenario. 20 tackles and 4.5 sacks. Young actually tied for first in the Jayhawk Conference in sacks, and he stands Abrams up for a couple yard loss. And now to be second and goal from the 4 with 5:45 and counting in the first half. Still scoreless showdown between these two teams. Highland trying to stay steadfast in the red zone and keep Butler out of the end zone. So far this action today, they've been able to do so. Helbig hands this off. Abrams, now he gets hit again in the backfield. Jeremiah Hill lunging forward. Abrams is with a last-inch effort, but Hill with the initial hit. His teammates help make sure to corral Abrams short of the goal line. Third and goal now. Positive yards were gained, and Butler, wasting no time, gets back lined up. 5:10 to go in the first half. Third and goal from inside the 2. Here's Abrams, slips, but he's going to pinball his way in and spins into the end zone. Highland thought they might be able to hold on to him, but he slips through, and a little slippery run of a couple of yards that time for Butler will get them on the board with 5:02 left to play here in this first half of action. So 5:02 left to play in the first half, and Butler is the first to find pay dirt. But it's 3 big penalties on this drive that really were the big difference why Butler got the ultimate touchdown. Luke Winter coming in to hit the PAT with 5:02 on the clock here, and it's going to be blocked. The extra point is blocked, picked up into the end zone by Jeremiah Hill, and Hill will be brought down. You can bring that back, of course, but no opportunity to do that as Hill was wrestled down relatively quick. But the PAT blocked for the second time this season. They've accomplished that feat, and for the 4th time they've blocked a kick attempt at netting points. But it's points on the board early on for Butler. Butler as they lead it 6-0 with 5:02 to go here in the first half. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network, Highland Community College football.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Well, Highland gives up the touchdown there that time in that contest, but it was 3 big penalties that were some costly ones, 3 penalties that were big varieties as well, including the pass interference being the big one that was called that set up the 1st and goal on the 2-yard line, but it was pass interference on a 3rd and goal from the 15 on that situation, and that ultimately makes it a 6-0 contest as the PAT was blocked, so Highland does keep 1 point off the board in that one, but they look to answer with their points of their own. Offensively, Scotties haven't been able to put together much offense so far for themselves. Passing yards are actually negative, and for both teams, actually. 51 total yards of offense for Highland, 98 total yards of offense for Butler. As Spear takes the snap, gives it off to Jordan. Jordan's going to be wrestled down, somehow got away from his block, actually got the shoulder pad of Willie Jordan and may have actually ripped the jersey of Jordan, and I was able to hold on. Charlie Benton, who is 7th in the Jayhawk Conference in tackles and 8th in tackles per game. 43-plus tackles. Willie Jordan with the carry, a gain of about 3, but great play by Benton to stay with it, the guy that was blocking him, and still get the one-handed tackle on that. Tight end motion, Zutiago moving to the right side, and now back in motion is the fullback, Delane, here to the near side. Spear looking to pass, but he brings it down, lunges forward. He's going to get a positive yard out of that. He didn't get sacked, but he gets shoestring tackled by Will Honus, and looking for Albert Howard on the near side was Spear, but no opportunity there. Double coverage on the quick pass that was what he wanted. No gain officially. Got back to the original line of scrimmage as we go under 4 minutes to play in the first half. 6-0 Butler leading this one with 5:02 left to go in the first half of action. They visited the end zone for the first time for the first points, making it 6-0 on a 2-yard Isaiah Truss run. I said Abrams, but it was Isaiah Truss, I believe, that actually scored that touchdown. Spear going to have the pass to the flat for Jordan. He gets upended, and a great open field tackle. Man, what a play by Duron Lowe, as Lowe was able to come low and take out the legs of Willie Jordan. And here comes the, punting unit on here quickly again. 3:18 and counting in the first half on the clock, but the bad part of that situation was the fact that Highland got the ball back, and now they have to punt it into the wind for Lane Spiker here. And Butler gets it back with ample time to try to visit the end zone again. They've had 2 red zone visits and got points out of 1. High punt, but it's not going to go very far, and actually takes a Butler bounce and will be down at the Scotty 40. Big time opportunity here for Butler in this short field that's standing in front of the Butler Grizzlies. So the Butler Grizzlies with an opportunity who lead at 6-0 at this juncture. Well, guess what? They can get a couple more, or could get another play or 2 to go their way, and maybe can find the end zone again. Scotties don't want that to happen. They need a big play. I mean, they need to force a turnover, but Butler has had turnover issues, as I've chronicled in this contest, with their quarterback Helbig. He's been able to hold on to the ball. He's been steadfast and not turning the ball over. Helbig will go into the shotgun formation formation, left to right across your screen. Here's the handoff to the near side, and now stays with his blocks, lunges forward. Jeremiah Hill is going to bring down Isaiah Truss. Truss gain of about 2 on first down. Run to the right by Truss. Truss, Abrams, both ran the ball, and Shabazz very well, all three of those guys, and their rushing attack has been good. Highland's rushing defense and actually just giving up 90.5 yards per game. Second best in the Jayhawk Conference in that capacity. Man comes in motion across the formation. They hand it off to Abrams, who's back in, and he's gobbled up. Maybe a loss of 1 on the play as Jakeem Green and company in on the tackle. And clock now dwindling down to 2 minutes here in the first half. Highland needing a big stop on this third down play to maybe get the ball back for themselves with a little bit of time to work with and maybe manage some points. But it all starts right here with this third down. Helbig goes in the shotgun again with one back in the backfield directly behind him in the eye. It's going to be the pitch to Abrams. Abrams stretched down to the far side, and what a tackle that time. Penetrating the defense, Rico Hanna gets to the backfield and swallows up Abrams for the loss on the play of about 5 yards. Well, actually, they mark it ahead a little bit farther than I thought. Loss of about 3-4 yards. Minute 20 and counting, and brings up fourth down. Highland not calling a timeout as the clock continues to dwindle. It's fourth down, so Butler would be well advised just to take this play clock down as much as they can. Minute 8 to go, minute 7. Play clock's down to 8, but they're wasting no time. Actually going to go for it here on fourth down, maybe. They do a little pooch punt by the quarterback, Helbig, and Isaiah Gray will let it bounce inside the 5-yard line. And 53 seconds to work with for Highland here. They maybe could have preserved a little bit of time with some timeouts. They still have all 3 of them to the Scotties, but only 53 seconds to work with, and going to need to cover ample yardage right now for the Scotties on this offensive drive. They want to put some points on the board before intermission. They stopped the Grizzlies from getting on the board again to make sure it's just a 6-0 deficit, at least standing in front of them by intermission. Stay tuned for the halftime. We'll break down the halftime statistics and look towards the second half as well. We'll do that after a brief break here, and after we play these final 53 seconds. Jamison, the split out wide receiver, over to the far side. Spears going to go under center and deep in his own end zone right now. Handoff this time, and it's going to be Willie Jordan just scampering ahead to the 5-yard line. He was hit pretty immediately, but not much doing. 40 seconds now to work with, and Highland not going to call a timeout. They're pretty content with just getting in and running maybe one more play. They will have to run another play. Butler's going to call a timeout with 30 seconds left to play in the first half. Highland, with the play clock the way it was, going to have to call a timeout, no doubt. Are going to have to run another play, I should say. But, Highland has to be careful because the ball is on the 5-yard line. Don't want to have a play that goes negative and maybe a safety happen in this situation. And obviously you have 95 yards to gain to get to pay dirt for the first time for Highland. Scotties trail 6-0 with 31 seconds to go before halftime has come upon us. Butler's won 4 straight in the series, and Highland's last win was at Butler 2013. Last time Highland beat Butler here at Kessinger Field in Highland was 2006. It was a muddy game that day, but hasn't been too muddy today. Field's held up pretty good despite being pretty wet to start things off. The sun came out relatively quick into the contest, and blue skies we now have here at Highland, and maybe that's dried it up a little bit. I'm sure it's still a little wet, but we've seen some slippage in a few opportunities, more on Butler's side, but that's because Butler's been moving the ball a little bit more effectively in this one. Spears going to duck under center, 2nd and 7, but he's actually just going to take a knee. And Highland's going to be content with going down into halftime, down 6. Butler owning the lead at the moment. 20 seconds to go in this first half. Play clock is at 2 seconds, but should be able to dwindle the clock all the way down for the final ticks to come off. And that they will. So final ticks come off here in the first half as Butler visits the red zone twice, but only comes up with points once. As Highland at the half trailing Butler at home 6-0 here on the Scotty Sports Network. We'll give you updates on the statistics and more when we return here as you're watching Highland football on the Scotty Sports Network.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere. Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Welcome back here as we've hit halftime at Kissinger Field in Highland as we've got a 6-0 ball game. Butler leading this contest between these two teams. Scotty's, of course, coming in hosting the Butler squad, 19th ranked team in the country. And, well, both teams offensively didn't start off as the way they wanted to, but Butler found some consistency on the offensive end a little bit more. We're able to visit the end zone twice, the first time after an interception that Will Honus was able to track in, return pretty significantly into Scotty territory, but Highland held steadfast, and a 22-yard field goal attempt by Luke Winter went awry, and it was still scoreless at that juncture. But Butler then got into the end zone, and aided by 3 big penalty calls and big penalty yardage along with that, allowed them to get themselves into the end zone. The biggest of the 3 penalties ultimately being on a 3rd and goal from the 15 on a pass interference call on Dom Williams in the corner of the end zone as the pass was intended for Garrett Prince, but sailed over their head. They called pass interference on Williams, and that set up 1st and goal from the 2 for Butler. And mind you, again, it was 3rd and goal from the 15 when that penalty happened, and the pass went incomplete, so it would have been 4th and goal if there would have been no penalty. So a big penalty it was in that situation. A couple plays later, Isaiah Truss, he went into the end zone from 2 yards out. Now the PAT was blocked, so it's 6-0 here as we've hit intermission. Highland, though, offensively hasn't been able to move the ball with much effectiveness so far in this contest. You look at the offensive numbers for both of these teams, not really very eye-popping at all. Highlands ran 18 plays for 54 total yards, while Butler's ran 36 plays for 97 yards. Butler has 100 yards on the ground and -3 yards passing in this one with 9 first downs. Highland has just 2 first downs with 57 yards on the ground and -3 yards also passing in this contest. Also, the one other big differential is the turnover battle. It's being won by Butler right now. They intercepted a Tristan Spear pass, and that's the only turnover of the contest. 3rd down efficiency 50%, 5 of 10 for Butler. They converted on their lone fourth down as well. Highland 0 for 1 on fourth down and 0 for 4 on third down are the Scotties here in the first half. Diving into the individual statistics at intermission, we'll look over to the visiting Butler Grizzlies. Kayvon Abrams, 13 carries for 59 total yards, and Vinny Shabazz with 11 totes and 22 total yards for himself. Also, Isaiah Truss has the touchdown on 7 carries for 13 yards. Brady Rust with also 1 carry for 4 yards, and Jordan Dole with 1 carry for 2 yards. Chris Helbig, who has struggled with holding on to the ball and coughing up some interceptions over the past few games for Butler, has only attempted 3 passes, completed just 1, and it was for -3 yards technically in the contest. For Highland, offensively 2 for 5 with the interception for Tristan Spear and -3 yards passing. Rushing wise, you have 2 carries for Tristan Spear, and unfortunately negative yardage because the quarterback sack that he took. I also have Willie Jordan running for 7 times for 42 yards to lead the way for Highland, and D.D. Hall, he's got 2 carries for 25 yards, most of that on 1 carry, which is 22. Narcus Driver also has a carry, but it went for negative yards out of the Wildcat formation. So offensively, not much good numbers for either team, but the most important number, of course, being the scoreboard, a 6-0 lead for Butler. Flipping it over to the defensive side, Jeremiah Hill does have 5 tackles in this ball game. Rico Hanna with 4.5 tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss. You also have Isaiah Gray with a 3-tackle game. Trey Barrett, Kendrick Caddis, and Jakeem Green all have 3 tackles for Highland. The block, by the way, was credited to Lauren Young, who, again, continues to block a multitude of kicks. He blocked a field goal earlier this year as well, and a PAT, too. So that is his 3rd block kicked by far and away. Leading the Jayhawk Conference in that capacity is Lauren Young. On the defensive side of the ball for Butler, 2.5 tackles for Dron Lowe and Troy Dupree. The interception by Will Honus. He does have a quarterback sack, too. Honus does on the defensive side for Butler here at intermission. Butler's won 4 in a row, and Highland hasn't won since 2013 sent over the Grizzlies, and last time they won at home for Highland over Butler was 2006. Highland looking to snap and get back into the win column. Both teams actually coming off a loss in their last game and trying to get back in the win column. Butler 3-2, Highland at 2-2 on the season, and 1-2 in Jayhawk Conference play for the Scotties, 2-2 in Jayhawk Conference play for Butler, for this season. But neither team really probably happy with where they're at in this ball game. Butler obviously happy to have the lead, I'm sure, but and Highland maybe just happy to be down only by 1 score, given that Butler had a couple opportunities in the red zone. But neither team probably happy with how things played out over the course of the first half. The consistency level on the offensive end, and defensively too. There's probably some things that could be worked on, despite neither team really putting up much offensive statistics in the first half. So we'll take another break, and we'll break down the second half in just a little bit here on the Scotty Sports Network.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere. Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a four-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Well, just about ready for, still a little bit of time before we get to the second half as we look over the scoring recap of today's ball game. Pretty short, just one touchdown in the contest, and, not many visits to the red zone overall between the two teams, only two. Butler had both, and Butler found the end zone on one of those opportunities. With 5:02 left to go in the second quarter, it was Isaiah Truss running for 2 yards and the touchdown. PAT was blocked, but that drive really stemming and really being aided by 3 Highland penalties that were actually in the red zone. All of those penalties were. Highland actually then put themselves in a good position at forcing Butler to be 3rd and goal from the 15. Pass goes over the intended target's head, and you think maybe 4th down, but no, some yellow came out on the play, and a pass interference call allowed Butler to move the ball to the 2-yard line and then basically get a whole new set of downs and find the end zone a couple plays later on the Truss 2-yard run, and that makes it 6-0. They did try a 22-yard field goal as well. That was off to the right by Butler in the first half by Luke Winters, so they had an opportunity to make it at least a 9 to 10-point game, but came up short on the field goal. Again, missed the PAT, but did get the touchdown, and the Grizzlies lead at 6-0 right now over Highland in this showdown as we are at intermission. Thanks for tuning in on the Scotty Sports Network. Don't forget, you can check out ScottyAthletics.com. Check it out for all Highland Community College sports. We keep you up to date on all the action. It's linked there to watch Scotty Sports Talk. We've had 2 editions of Scotty Sports Talk with myself hosting Scotty Sports Talk. We'll have another one coming up in a few weeks. We just had one this past Monday, so the 16th of October will be our next Scotty Sports Talk coming up, and we'll be able to watch it live at 6:30 on that Monday night on ScottyAthletics.com. You can go back and watch our 2 previous Scotty Sports Talks. Football-wise, we had Dom Williams and Isaiah Gray on with head coach Aaron Arnold, but we had athletes and coaches from cross country and volleyball on as well this past week. You can watch those back at ScottyAthletics.com or find Scotty Sports Network on YouTube and watch a lot of the videos of the games back, and ultimately Scotty Sports Talk too. You keep up to date with all the results as well. Highland volleyball in action today as they are in Boone, Iowa, taking on the Des Moines Area Community College. They're hosting that tournament. They did take on Des Moines Area Community College today, or scheduled to do so, and ultimately also taking on Kirkwood. They went 2-0. Yesterday did the volleyball team for a quick recap of what they've done lately. 22-5 now record for them. So ranked 15th in the country. The cross-country men and women both ranked in the top 25, and they're in action today as well at Fort Hays State University. You can see some of the pictures from earlier the competition as they were competing in some muddy conditions of their own for cross country today for the competition for the Scotty runners at Fort Hays State here today for that showdown. So keep up to date on all the action for the matchups and all the action for Scotty Sports by checking out ScottyAthletics.com and also tuning in here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith with you here for this one. Again, in the first half, not much doing for both teams. Butler obviously leading on the scoreboard and leading in the statistical categories by a little bit as well. 97 total yards of offense for Butler, 54 total yards of offense for Highland. Both teams actually have negative 3 yards passing in this game. It's been more of the rushing attack, and it's been a good dosage of 3 different guys that have carried the ball. Abrams, Shabazz, and Truss. Truss with the touchdown for Butler so far. Highland's defense has played exceptionally well this season. Actually, the 216 yards that they gave up last week to 2 weeks ago to Hutchinson was the lowest they've given up to a Jayhawk Conference opponent since 2012. That was back on October the 6th. They played Coffeyville. They gave up a lower amount than 216 total yards. Right now, they've given up less than 100 yards to Butler in the first half, and defensively, keeping themselves in the ball game. Offensively, well, same thing that has plagued the Scotties so far this year, is being able to find an opportunity to, get some consistency offensively and find something that works, whether it be the passing game or finding those running lanes or something. The offense has been stagnant for the Scotties so far here in the last game and here today at Kessinger Field at home against Butler for the action between the Scotties and the Grizzlies of Butler. 6-0 here at halftime. We'll take another break, and when we come back from this one, should be about a minute or two away from kickoff for the second half. You're watching on the Scotty Sports Network. It's Butler leading Highland here at home for the Scotties 6-0 at intermission.
Highland's new agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere. Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College. College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Just a couple minutes away from kickoff here for the second half of the action. Mike Smith alongside with you here for today's action. So we are in Highland at Kissinger Field for this Jayhawk Conference showdown between the Scotties of Highland Community College and Butler Community College. The Grizzlies leading at 6-0 as we get ready for the second half. Basically pretty even as far as a lot of different things go in the scenarios how they've played out so far here today. But Highland offensively not being able to muster much offensively in that capacity, and it's kind of eerily similar to the Hutchinson game on the offensive side of the ball. Didn't have much offensive yardage at all. Finally moved the ball late in the game and got that game-tying drive against the Blue Dragons on the road. But got to find something offensively here to try to put things together. And Highland will have an opportunity to do so on offense to start off the second half. They did win the coin toss, selected to defer, so we'll have the ball coming their way to start off the second half. The field, by the way, has held up pretty good so far today. I mean, it's obviously not in the best condition it's been because of all the rainfall that we had over the last few days, but especially last night as well. But that hadn't been too much of an issue in that capacity, it seems like. Haven't seen it in the kicking game be too much of an issue. The wind obviously being more of an issue there. There's a 16-mile-an-hour wind out of the west coming directly across the field. So once you're going right to left across your screen, it would be kicking into the wind at that scenario. Highland will have themselves going right to left here in this second half, and we'll set things up on offense. Need a big play, maybe a special teams spark could be it. Ronnie Jameson and Trey Willis both back there. They've only returned 7 kicks between the two, so haven't been able to get much of a big special teams spark on punt or kick returns for the Scotties here this year, but we'll see if they can do so maybe here to kind of help spearhead and spark something offensively for themselves. Well, not going to have a chance as it's kicked out of bounds, and ultimately the touchback will give the Scotties. We'll get the ball on their own 25-yard line to start off this second half. Highland ready to roll in this showdown and looking to get things going as they continue to go with Tristan Spear at quarterback. And, well, I mean, not much was there. Tristan only attempted a few passes in the first half. They tried to run the ball, but were unsuccessful at accomplishing that feat with the regularity they wanted to. So we'll see what Spear and company want to do here. They'll have Howard split out to the near side, Jameson to the far, and Jordan in the backfield directly behind Spear, who's in the shotgun. Tied in tight to the far side of the formation. Jameson now goes in motion. Low snap. Spear going to pick it up. Hand it off to Jordan. Jordan tries to go off tackle. He stays alive. He's going to be up there close to the first down marker. He marked out of bounds after a 9-yard run by Jordan. He kind of bounced off the tackle on the right side of the formation. And, well, because of that, was able to get the edge a little bit. And Willie Jordan gets a 9-yard run. One of his best runs of the day for Jordan. Something like that, again, would be ideal in that situation. Howard split out to the near side. Jameson to the far again. Shotgun formation with Spear. Puts it right in the breadbasket of Jordan. Jordan shoots through the hole, and he's going to get the first down up to the 41-yard line. And chain mover that time. As Willie Jordan and the Scotties have to stay ahead on each play and continue to get positive yards, and they get the first down. So the ball on the 41-yard line. Good 2 runs by Willie Jordan to open things up here in the second half. 9 and 7-yard runs by Jordan. Spear's going to go under center this time. And Tariq Parkings squats with Spear underneath him, and Spear hands it off to Jordan. Jordan is going to be wrapped up by his ankles as that one off by Hassan Belton. Belton brings down Jordan, but not until he gets to the 45, so a gain of 4. Solid gain on first down for Jordan and crew. So Willie Jordan has been given the ball 3 different times on the first 3 plays of the second half, and feeding Jordan, who's now the primary featured back for Highland without Kevin Brown, who's one of the top backs in the Jayhawk Conference, but out with a knee injury. Jamison motions across. Here's Jordan going to get the handoff, and straight down the chute again he goes, but multiple Butler Grizzlies in on the tackle. Jordan lunges forward for a positive gain of about 2. Sets up 3rd and 4. Ball close to the 50-yard line at the 47 of Highland. Highland with a 3rd down, and this is a big one. Third down that can maintain this drive, get a couple of first downs. You only had 2 first downs in the entire first half for Highland. You got one early on this drive, another one, you start to string some things together. Big 3rd and 4. Offset, fullback off to the side, and there's a quick whistle, and Highland wants to call a timeout. Didn't see if the play clock was winding down. It may have been, but Scotty's called the timeout. Wants to talk things over on this 3rd and 4. It's a big 3rd and 4, really, in my opinion, at this point, because Highland's offense, as I've chronicled, has not been able to, put things firmly together in the way that they would like. And, if you can string a second first down on this drive, maybe you start to find that consistency level that you're looking for. And it's been Willie Jordan so far. He's had 4 carries on this drive, the 4 offensive plays run, and he's managed to get 9, 7, 4, and 2 yards on all those 4 carries. And maybe they go back to Jordan, needing 4 yards to get the first down, or maybe they sprinkle in something different, a different dynamic to get this 3rd down conversion. You're close to midfield as well, so you think maybe you would go for it on 4th down too, but you're kind of in that gray territory of doing so. You probably punt it away if you don't convert, only being down by 6, and the way your defense is played, you expect to get the ball back, hopefully relatively quick if that plays out, but they don't have to want to have that scenario come to fruition. Tight end tight to the near side. He goes in motion along with the fullback motioning off to the right side of the formation. Delane now motions back to the near side. High snap, Spear gets it off to Jordan. Jordan trying to shake an ankle tackle, and he won't be able to do so. Looked like he had the edge, but he couldn't get away from the ankle tackle linebacker Charlie Benton, and Benton saved the first down from being had by Highland. Jordan will be wrangled in by a 2-yard gain and be 2 yards shy of the first down. Great play by the linebacker from Alabama, the sophomore Benton. 40-plus tackles entering today. He's filled the stat sheet actually in a multitude of ways. Ranks in the top 5 of the Jayhawk Conference in tackles for loss. And that wasn't a tackle for loss, but that was a tackle for non-first down. And that leads Delane Spiker trotting out on the field to punt this away and punt it into the wind. Spiker gets this, and now it's going to go high and fall inside the 25. Take a Scotty bounce roll close to the 20. May just be about a half ball ahead of the 20-yard line for Butler, first offensive possession of the ball game. So solid couple of runs by Willie Jordan to open up the second half, but not much coming of those as they get a first down on the drive, but set up with that 3rd and 4. Could not convert, just get 2 yards of the 4 and have to punt it away. So defense looking to buckle in again and buckle down once more for Highland. Butler left to right across your screen here on the Scotty Sports Network, and they'll go with the quarterback, Brady Rust, in at quarterback. He motions the back out of the backfield into the slot on the far side. Rust is more of the Wildcat quarterback keeper type guy, and he keeps that one, and he's going to be wrestled down the shoe duster tackle as Fofana. Amadou gets him in the backfield, and Amadou has had a great season so far, tied for 11th in sacks in the Jayhawk Conference with a couple, but he's got some tackles for loss and tackle for just 1 yard gain for Rust, the quarterback. Comes in, gives the different dynamic as far as the Wildcat situation, the Derby, Kansas native. Helbig back in. He's been playing well, but he's been basically handing the ball off and letting the tailbacks out of the backfield for Butler do it. The edge is not had. Abrams tried to get it, but Trey Barrett comes in. The flag comes flying in late at the end of the play. Trey Barrett wanting to know if it's upon him, and he bends over just in the vicinity of thinking that it may actually be on Highland. Abrams, of course, trying to get the edge, but it wasn't there. Great play by the safety Barrett to bring him down, and right now would be a loss on the play. But again, yellow laundry on the field. And right now, we'll wait and see if it's on the Scotties. Scotties now pointing over that it's actually going to be on Butler. They're pretty adamant on the fact that it's going to be on the Grizzlies. Referee couldn't understand what he was saying there again because of the wind being a bit of an issue, blowing straight right through on the field. So
no foul on play, brings up.
Basically just picked up the flag, no foul on the play, and they pick it up, and, well, you lose a yard on that last play, setting up the opportunity. No gain officially. They'll mark him actually back to the original line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 10. Here's the pitch to the near side, and he slips in the backfield, and now this is a tsunami of Highland tacklers. They say that the ball is loose. Scotty's trying to jostle for it here. Gray comes in. He's pointing that it was a ball up for grabs, and Highland's going to come up with it, looks like. The Scotty's popping up. They were celebrating, but no indication from the referees. And there's a Butler Grizzly down on the ground. Butler, a guy on the field. Highland, I don't believe, actually did come away with the possession. Butler's fumbled the ball over 10 times or so this season. They haven't lost all of them, but when they have, it's been costly. They've actually lost a couple of fumbles that were picked up and returned for touchdowns in the Coffeyville game, one of their 2 losses earlier this year. A lot of their turnovers from Butler this season have directly led to the defense scoring, and those were both, there's a lot, basically what did them in last week against Garden City, and also Coffeyville in week 2 back in that loss as well. They lost only by 3 to Coffeyville and by 6 last week to Garden City. So the gentleman that was down on the field, all right, and going off the field that time, I think that was Myron Mitchell. Myron Mitchell coming off the field. One of the wide receivers was in on that scrum. But 4th down and loss of 3 on that last play. Of course, now Highland forces negative yardage on that offensive drive for Butler to start off the second half. And Scotties, well, they should be able to maybe get a good opportunity with some good field position here. Now the wind is at the back of the Grizzlies to punt this away, and the punting unit on close to the goal line to send that up. Oh, what a punt. This one's a booming one over the head of Isaiah Gray. Keeps rolling. He's going to field it inside the 10, dance around, and he's going to shake a tackle. There's a penalty flag, and I think it might be a block in the back. Gray's going to have still a good return. He's going to get close up to the 40-yard line, but there's yellow all the way back at the 5-yard line, and a yellow flag comes in at the end of the play, too. Big-time punt by Garrett Prince, the sophomore who plays wide receiver, too. He does punting duties as well. He had 18 punts coming into today and a booming one there. The wind probably helping out a lot of that, too. It sailed over Isaiah Gray's head. He didn't field it until it was inside the 10. He turned up and was able to get some positive yards out of that and get close to his own 40-yard line, but probably not going to stand at that point as where Highland is. There's a flag back at the 5-yard line, and there's a flag ahead of where the ball's marked around the 45. Head coach Aaron Arnold in on that, and a couple steps off the near sideline to get his thoughts into the referees, I'm sure, who are on the near side to converse about these 2 penalties. And we'll wait and see. I didn't think that was a block in the back. That's my guess, as the vicinity of the foul, the first penalty flag that was thrown in the area of the 5-yard line. And it just, it looked like, it didn't look like anything out of the ordinary, but I have have to think that would be the call, blocking the back in that situation over there. If that is what it is, I mean, they're continuing to converse. Every official now all huddled together basically here on the 45-yard line to talk this over. But, it's taking a long time to sort this out and see what will come to fruition, which means to me that there's probably some discrepancy on what the guys believe to be the case in these penalties. A couple of disagreements, I'm sure, between the two at this juncture. Highland, though, has been penalized multiple times. I have to take a peek at that real quick, penalty-wise, here in this contest. 4 for 41, but 3 of those were on that drive that ultimately culminated in the touchdown. White hat set to be ready, I think, here as a couple of the referees on the near sideline conversing with head coach Aaron Arnold. Now a couple over going to talk with Butler's head coach Tim Schaefer as well, who's in his 3rd season. Coach Arnold in his 4th in this one. Still wanting to get this figured out. I think based on what the White House was saying and the applause that Highland gets on their sideline, it's going to go a positive thing for the Scotties, and they're actually going to be forced to repunt this, it looks like, as Isaiah Gray is coming back out on the field, setting up to be in the punting formation for a return. So I'm going to venture to say that this is actually going to move backwards as personal foul on Butler, and then a block in the back on Highland. So that's what we thought for the Scotties. So penalties will offset, and you basically just have to redo the whole entire situation. It took a long time to figure out that we're just going to reset the whole entire thing and give another try here to the punting unit right now. That was a big time, situation where we had to figure that out. A lot of time allotted to the conversation of deciphering both penalties and ultimately accomplishing the fact that they negate each other, and we'll just replay the punt. So here's an opportunity for Isaiah Gray to maybe spark again Highland. Also an opportunity for another booming punt as well from Butler, because they still have the wind at their back. Now it has slightly died down, maybe a few miles an hour than it was roaring just a moment ago when he punted a minute ago, but still has the wind at his back, so it's going to help aid the punt, you would think, right now for Prince. And snap is there cleanly. He fields this one, a great spiral, but Gray is able to backpedal and field this at the 25. Gray cuts back. He's got some open space. Now he's got to open up to the 45, down to the 50, gets away from a tackler, and he's hit down to the ground. But a big run back gets Highland into Butler territory. There's a spark plug that you need for the Scotties, perhaps. Big run back by Isaiah Gray. He was at his own 25-yard line, and he brings it back nearly 30 yards. About a 28-yard return for Gray on the punt return, setting up Highland in Butler territory, just over the 50-yard line at about the 47. Right to left across your screen. Spear in the shotgun formation continues to be the quarterback at the helm. Man in motion into the near side. It's going to be a handoff, and D.D. Hole wrestled down quickly. Will be thrown ahead for positive yardage. Gain of about 1. That's about it. Not much doing from that, but Sharice Ham was the wide receiver, by the way, in motion on the near side. So gain of 1 by Hole, 2nd and 9. 9:20 to play in the third quarter. 6-0 Butler still leading it. The Grizzlies got that touchdown with 5 minutes and a couple of seconds on the clock in that second quarter. Twins over to the far side. Spear in the shotgun yet again. Hold it back. They hand it off to him. Dede gets a couple of blocks. Now he's got some open space. He's up to the 40. Now up to the 30-yard line. Pushed out of bounds around the 30. Took an awkward spin out of bounds from Will Honus, who pushed him there. But Dede Hall with another spectacular big run. And he's able to get a first down for Highland. There hasn't been many of those, but Dede Hall with the big run, setting up things. 16-yard run.
From the Grizzlies' 30-yard line.
1st and 10 for Highland. It's a ball now marked on the 31-yard line. So ball on the 30-yard line. Here's a handoff to Hall again. A couple blockers leading the way. Hall leads the way with that blocker. Gets right behind him and rides him down to the 26.
Making the stop, number 97.
Gain of about 4. D.D. Hall being the guy to get some carries in this drive. Second down. But close to the red zone for the first time for Highland in this ball game. Looking for a score to knot this up. Back in the backfield. Alongside with Tristan Spear with twin receiver to the far side. Howard, the receiver, to the near side. Tight end tight to the right side as well. Fake the handoff, pass to the flat. It's Jamison. He's got it complete. Gets away from an ankle tackle, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds after he gets the first down, though, as he gets inside to the 20-yard line. And nice play and a completion. Tristan Spear hits Ronnie Jamison in the flat. Jamison gets some yards after the catch and the first down. And here's some offense moving in the right direction for Highland Community College. D.D. Hall helping spearhead it, and now Ronnie Jamison on the 7-yard gain on the completion from Spear. First and 10 for the 19, so into the red zone for the first time for Highland in this contest. Butler's had 2 visits to the red zone. Came up empty once, but got a touchdown as well on the other opportunity. Justin Ruiz takes the carry, but pretty much wrestled down pretty quick. Justin Ruiz hit after a couple-yard gain by the defensive line of Butler.
Gain of 2 on the play, brings up 2nd and 8.
2nd and 8. Ball at 17-yard line now for Highland. Highland with 7 minutes and 5 seconds to work with here in the third quarter right now. Ronnie Jamison, Trey Willis splits to the near side. Howard to the far side on the formation. Hand off to Ruiz. Ruiz straight up the gut. He's still churning ahead, keeps the legs moving, and lunges forward. Nice gain there by Ruiz as he continues to just push his way. I think I can type of situation where you just continue to keep those legs going and going and going, get an extra push from your offensive lineman, and it gets it to a 3rd and manageable. 3rd and 4 after the Ruiz 4-yard run. Spear getting the play call, setting things back. Ronnie Jamison is rechecked in at wide receiver. He'll be split out to the near side. Howard to the far. One lone back in the backfield. The fullback's offset with the tight end now going in motion with the fullback to the right side. As Delane anchors that with Utiaga. And here's Hall, spin pirouette move. He goes to be close to the 10. The scrum trying to push ahead, and extra play. Hall actually ends up about 5 yards back from where he will actually be marked. And they're going to mark him shy of the 10. And that'll be 11-yard line.
4th and 2 for the Scottish.
4th and 2 will be short 2 yards, and looks like the offense is going to stay on the field at this point right now because you're going into the wind, so obviously that's not going to help you if you want to kick a field goal. Now William Solomon probably has enough leg to easily kick this on a normal day, but the wind obviously being a factor. Willie Jordan here takes it, lunges forward, and it's going to be close as Highland looks to have it, as that second effort by Willie Jordan was able to push him ahead of the first down. Butler, though, indicating that it's going the other way instead, and we'll have to wait and see where the spot officially is. Can't see because there's a multitude of guys in the way at the moment of this scenario. And actually now, from my vantage point, it's going to be close. It's going to be close for Highland to get this first down on the 4th down play. And unfortunately, if you don't get that first down, you're going to turn it over in the red zone on downs because that was 4th down and 2. It's going to be close, and if they get it, I don't even think it's by a full ball length, and it's about a half a ball or a nose. Trey Willis is indicating we've got a first down for Highland, but still putting things together. Oh, no, the last pull right there, it's going to be a chain link away, basically, from the first down. Now, just chain links away from a first down conversion on a big 4th down play in the red zone, but Highland unfortunately unable to get it enough. They needed a couple of yards, and well, they got 1 and about every inch you can get without being 2. 5:22 left to play in the third. 6-0. Butler gets the turnover on downs. The Grizzlies hold fast on the best offensive drive of the game for Highland as they were set up with some short field right up the gut and into a plethora of Highland Community College Scotties. Entire defensive line in on that tackle. Great job, wrap up by Lauren Young. Also in on that tackle was Jamal Winter as well, who's been playing strong up front. Minimal gain on first down of 3. I thought it was only about 2, but they actually give him another yard. Probably a last-ditch effort through that pile. Helbig continues to be the quarterback, and he'll hand it off again to his running back as Shabazz will get this one. Looked like no gain to maybe a short gain. And Shabazz maybe gets a yard or so on that play, but again, not much. Highland's been pretty good and pretty stout. Now forcing a third down already again and trying to get the ball again. You force a third down here, you're going to have to punt it again and maybe a good run back for a shorter field for yourself. No gain, so 3rd and 7 approximately. And Highland ready to try to buckle in on third down here. Scotty's third down defense coming into today. The opponents were converting on just 37% on third down. They go twins to the far side. They motion out the running back to the flat. Now Helbig looks to pass. That's across the middle, and it's going to be caught. Wow, went over the top of a Highland defender and caught over across the middle. Trey Barrett with the tackle, but what a catch as that was hauled in by C.J. Sims as he was able to haul that in for the first down. Sims not a tall guy, just 5'7" and 150 pounds, but the sophomore hauls in his 17th pass of the season. And it's a big one for the Grizzlies on a 3rd down and 7 conversion for the first down to get close to the 30-yard line. Ball on the 29 and a new set of downs for Butler as they go left to right across your screen. Helbig takes the snap, hands it off to Shabazz, and he's going to be pushed down to the ground. Nice job with the penetration. Rico Hanna wreaking havoc in the backfield again. Hanna with another tackle for loss as he's 2nd in the JAC Conference in that capacity, entering today with 8. But he gets another one here today. He's got a couple of those tackles for loss to the linebacker Rico Hanna. And he actually got a yard. They're going to give him forward progress. I thought he got pushed back. So I gave Hanna the tackle for loss, but won't get one because it was a 1-yard gain officially. They gave him forward progress. I thought he was going to be pushed back. And here's Trust, breaks through the initial line and wave. Trey Barrett comes up from the safety spot, brings him down, but ahead of the 35, he gets to the 36. 2:45 and counting in the 3rd quarter. And Butler starting to move once more. Got out of their own shadow of the end zone with that big pass play on 3rd down being the big play of this drive so far. 17-yard completion to C.J. Sims from Chris Helbig. One of the other big things is Butler hasn't beat themselves with turnovers, which they've done in their 2 losses this year. And they faked the handoff. Helbig's actually going to keep it himself. Actually, that's Brady Russ. Excuse me. Russ for the keeper on the fake jet sweep. Brings up 4th down as Russ just lunged forward for a gain of a yard or so. And 4th down comes out, and here comes the punting unit on again. Garrett Prince will come in. The sophomore had a great punt that was called back. Then Isaiah Gray ran one back to set up Highland with great field position. Can Gray provide another spark on the punt return capacity and set up the Scotties with an opportunity to put themselves together? Here comes the snap. Prince will have it fielded cleanly here on the punt. He's going to kick away from Gray. Actually, Gray comes down and gets it around the 20. He's got a man right in front of him, but Gray going to take a big hit and go down around the 27, 28-yard line. Not real much of a lane for Isaiah Gray to come up. Amari Barno coming up with the tackle. Minute 31 left to play here in the 3rd quarter, and it's, well, still 6-0 right now. Butler leading. Highland had an opportunity, their best field position of the day on their last offensive drive. Got them into the red zone, but a 4th and 4. They only got a couple yards. Or actually, a 4th and 2. They only got about every inch you need except, a chain link. Driver comes in as the Wildcat quarterback. Now he hands this on. A quarterback keeper instead had the fake handoff to D.D. Hall. And Narcus Driver takes it himself for about a 3-yard gain. Driver only came in for about 1 snap in the first half. want to try to sprinkle in those types of plays. They tried with Shepard the last couple of weeks, and of course Xavier out with the broken leg for the remainder of the season. So Driver now comes in as be the third quarterback per se in the depth chart capacity, but the Wildcat quarterback at that. Spears back in on a 2nd down and 7 as the ball's on their own 30-yard line for the Scotties. Play action pass, and they throw it to Jamison, but an incomplete pass. It was a forward pass to the flat. Jamison can't hold on to it, and now 3rd and 7 for Highland. Scotties don't want to quickly just give it back to Butler. Again, have to punt in the wind with 47 seconds to go in this quarter if they don't convert on this 3rd down. Fullback Stephen Delane comes back into the contest now for this 3rd down play for the Scotties. Clock stopped on the incompletion, so just under 50 seconds to play in the 3rd. Butler still leads 6-0. And Spear in the shotgun. One lone back in the backfield. Man in motion is Jamison coming across the formation. Here's the handoff to Hall. Bounces off tackle. Didi's still alive. Nice stiff arm. He's still lunging forward, and he's going to have the 1st down. Wow, what a 2nd and 3rd effort by Didi Hall to get the 1st down. A big 3rd down run by Hall as that was able to get the 1st down. Didi Hall was able to churn out a tremendous run on 3rd down and keep the drive alive. 8-yard run by Didi Hall. So 1st down for Highland with 20 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. And Tristan Spear in the shotgun takes the snap, gonna hand this one off, and it's Justin Ruiz, it looks like. And actually now a little extracurricular activity there that time as Didi Hall takes that one, but great tackle away from the play. As I like that effort from the offensive line for Highland Community College as Casey Fye has sent down his guy that was blocking him. Blocking 6-0 after 3. It's Highland trailing Butler as we head to the 4th quarter of action. You're watching and listening to the action on the Scotty Sports Network right here on Highland football for you on the Scotty Sports Network. They lead trail 6-0 to Butler.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Grizzlies are clinging to a 6-0 lead over the Highland Scotties.
6-0 as we enter the final stanza of the day here on Scotty Sports Network, and Highland will switch sides of the field. So go left and right across your screen and have the wind at their back now here in the 4th quarter. Tristan Spear in the shotgun, one lone back in the backfield. The fullback Delane goes in motion to the far side, and here's the handoff. Didi Hole scatter back. He's going to get up to the 2nd level, get away. Now he's going to still push ahead, and his offensive line continues to barrel him through close to the 40-yard line. What a big run by Didi Hall again, but give credit up front. Tremontes Raybon and another crew as well alongside, and Mike Davis was in the vicinity too, but Raybon helped carry Didi Hall in that big run. And now Highland finding some offense here. 1st and 10, ball on the Grizzly 41. Trey Parker, the split wide receiver, out to the far side. One lone receiver to the near side as well. Footback, the running back is Justin Ruiz now. Ruiz gets hit right around the line of scrimmage and will be brought down. Will Honus with the initial hit, but then brought down by Charlie Benton to finish off the play. Gain of 1 for Justin Ruiz. Howard, Willis, and Jamison all coming in back at the wide receiver spot. 14-10 to go in the contest. Highland still searching for their first points of the game. Butler with some late subs along that line. And they do get everybody off the field before Highland sets themselves. Both teams subs, so they had an opportunity to get the subs off. Spear takes the snap, going to fake the throw and hand it off to Hull. Hull, who continues to pinball his way around and bounce his way through. Actually, that was Justin Ruiz that time, actually. Both guys are doing a great job. Ruiz, bouncing him around. So Justin Ruiz bouncing his way. In the fourth quarter, 13:27 to go. Tristan Spear in the shotgun. Third down right now. And Spear going to hand it off to Hull. Hull is engulfed in the backfield. Not much doing there at all. Multiple guys in on that tackle to bring him down, including Cole Morris. And that actually will bring back 2 yards. So it's a loss of 2 on the carry. And now fourth down. And you're obviously going to go for it in this situation where you're at, I would think. Tristan Spear getting and looking over to the sideline from head coach Aaron Arnold. What's the call going to be on this fourth down play? Fourth and about 5. 12:35 left to play in the game. Spear takes a snap, drops back to pass, got some pressure coming his way, across the middle. Oh, man, Ronnie Jamison just got nailed. Will Honus just smashed Jamison, and that's short of the line to gain. Jamison will pop up and get off the field and be checked out relatively quick. And, man, did Jamison take a lick. And he was able to pop back up as the head coach Aaron Arnold upset about maybe the call or non-call in that. He wanted a potential targeting call in that one. He's still livid. Coach Arnold is on the near sideline. He thinking Honus maybe lowered his helmet and laid the boom to Jamison, which would have been a targeting call if that would have been the call that Coach Arnold perhaps wanted. But pass was complete. It does fall short of the first down. Another turnover on downs in Butler territory, and Highland spoils another opportunity, unfortunately, for themselves on a promising offensive drive that started off there. Now Abrams gets away from a couple tackles, but wrestled down. Trey Barrett penetrates and knocks down Abrams, as Abrams was able to get away from the mass of guys on the line and squirt free to the left. And Trey Barrett was awaiting in the flat, was able to bring him down. Abrams would have got away from Barrett. He would have had some good yardage on first down, but only a 1-yard gain instead. Still plenty of time for the Scotties right now, being down by 1 score, but another defensive stop would be ideal. You don't want to go down 2 scores here in this situation to the Grizzlies, as time not on your side at this point. They go empty backfield, motion the running back out to the near side here, and it's going to be a new quarterback anyways, Brady Rust. He's going to be sacked in the backfield. Lauren Young got him up top, finished off by Fofana as well, and is able to get that. Fofana coming up and Lauren Young actually starting it off, but Amadou coming up with finishing touches on the play. Brady Russ was the quarterback to run that, and you pretty much know that he's going to run the ball when he's in there at that opportunity. So that kind of maybe spoils some things as well for Butler. 3rd and 11. Helbig's back in. Twin receivers to the near side. They're going to motion it back out of the backfield. And Helbig dropping back to pass. 3-step drop going to the far sideline. And up throw there. And an incomplete pass. Dom Williams that time. And Dom Williams going to break it up. Now, Butler faithful wanted the penalty flag, but not going to be thrown. Maybe that's a makeup call from earlier in the game. You hate to say that, but Dom Williams right there, like a blanket on over the far sideline, as Butler not going to get the pass interference or the complete pass, and the punting unit comes on. So the stop made by the Highland defense, just what the doctor ordered for the Scotties on the defensive side of the ball. They get the ball back offensively, still with ample time to work. We just go under 11 minutes to play. And here comes the punt. And, oh, this is a line drive, maybe partially blocked. It's still got enough off of it that it will go and roll Butler's way inside the 40-yard line to about the 37-yard line. As a great play by Dom Williams in the secondary. So forcing the punt off the incompletion. Scotties get the ball back with 10:51 to go in the fourth quarter. As Butler, though, however, still owns the lead. Butler up 6-0. Tristan Spear in the shotgun, lone back in the backfield, receivers split out to each side. Spear going to hand this one off to Hall. Hall goes off, tackle goes right there, and now Didi gets another burst of speed, gets a solid first down gain of 8 to 9 yards, and a big run by Didi Hall, who has showcased himself here in this ballgame and in the second half as well. Hall has now 11 carries with that last tote for himself and over 80 yards rushing, 86 yards on 11 carries for Hall here, most in the second half. Second and short, 1 yard needed to move the chain. Spear takes the snap, hands it off again. Hit in the backfield, Will Honus, and then now a multitude of Butler Grizzlies bring down, I believe it was Hull. Hull, no gain. It looks like he may have lost a yard. And loss of the helmet there for one of the linemen for Highland. Didn't see who that was. Casey Fye coming off the field for this play as he lost his helmet. So Sterling Brown will come in his place in the right guard spot. But 3rd and 2, big third down yet again. So we continue to reiterate the fact that there's big plays being had at every single juncture of this ball game as we go under 10 minutes to play. Spear checks his wristband, looks for the play, gets the snap, hands it off. A little stutter step move, lunging forward, and he's going to have the first down. Didi Hall gets it close, or it'll be close. I think it's going to be the first down. Well, maybe not. Wow. Based on the point of the ball, they do say knows the ball, gets enough for the first down, and Didi Hall gets enough on the run to move the chains. It was close from the eyeball point vantage point from up in the press box. I thought initially, based on his last-ditched effort, he was going to get it, but they marked it a slew back from where I thought they would, and he still got the first down. 2 receivers to the far side. Jamison's in the slot, lone back in the backfield. Jamison now goes in motion, and they hand it off to Jordan. Jordan shakes the tackle in the backfield and is going to get positive yards out of it. It looked like he was going to be wrestled down in the backfield, but Willie Jordan, first carry in a while for him, gets him across midfield and into Butler territory again, up to the 46-yard line. And 9 minutes and 5 seconds to go here in this contest. Highland still trailing by a touchdown. Jamison and Willis split out to the far side. Howard split to the near side. Spear in the shotgun. 2nd and about 4 after the Jordan gain. And here's the jet sweep by Jamison. He cuts back. He's going to have close to a first down gain, maybe 3 yards. Penalty flag comes flying away from the play. What happened there? This is away from where Jamison was tackled. And I think Highland might be seeing one go against them. Bailey Malovic, who came into the ball game and on that offensive line, looked a bit upset, and it might be on Bailey himself, just based on the way he was maneuvering. White hat now set to signal away, and we'll see if we can. So if you heard that through the wind, it was a personal foul, and it was on Bailey Malovic, unfortunately. And so that's going to push Highland back a little bit further. Highland upset on how that situation unfolded. But again, I'm not sure if Bailey was the second guy in that situation, but that happened earlier where Dom Williams was the second guy involved. And they got ultimately hurt by the big penalty, and they hurt by another big penalty. Highland is here after a pretty good play that was going to get them close to the first down. Maybe not quite the first down, but instead now it's going to be 3rd and a mile here standing in front of Highland, and the penalties continue to pile up for the Scotties. That'll be the 5th penalty of the ball game for 56 total yards, but they've all been at crucial junctures throughout the game. 3rd and 17 now as we're back in Scotty territory. Ball ahead of the 40-yard line at the 41. Spear looks to pass. He's got Jamison, but Jamison can't hold on to it. His back shoulder throw, and Ronnie could not hold on to it. Ronnie takes another big hit. That was low, I believe, low in the boom. And now 4th down, and what looked like a manageable situation. Wait, penalty flag comes in, and Ronnie Jamison was down on the ground, and I thought maybe the defensive back low that hit him might be called for a taunting type of situation, because he kind of stood over, not directly over per se, Jamison, but kind of stood like there, and, hands over on his hips, and kind of a gloating style play. So a taunting call could be what this is over on the far sideline. And if that's the case, that will definitely be huge for Highland. Trey Willis saying that it is on Butler, already indicating that we will see that. Just again waiting the official call from the White Hat. Would give you the call from the speakers, but the wind obviously deterring the audio in that situation. So we'll just communicate it from once we see the official call. Conversation still being had on the far sideline at the moment before the signal will be officially had. Jamison was unable to catch that, setting up 4th down, but and it is on Butler as well. So Butler will be whistled for the penalty, and we couldn't hear who it was on in that scenario, but the Scotties get a break, as they haven't had many of those go their way so far as the break capacity in this contest. And Scotties will get a break there in that penalty. Yeah. So I don't know. There might have been a play taken, or a guy taken out of the ball game. I don't see anyone leaving the area as far as the field. So I don't know, maybe there's some belief that maybe there was an ejection, but I don't think so. But the ball will get back into Butler territory. It's going to go all the way to the 44-yard line, and it's going to be a 1st down automatically too, on top of the penalty call. So right now Highland gets back to where they basically were just a bit ago and have a whole new set of downs. And that penalty that they had themselves that looked like it was going to stymie this drive, just helped aided by Butler's own penalty for themselves. Butler's been a penalty-plagued team this season, now averaging 95 yards for penalties per game. But they've only had a couple of penalties in this contest, has Butler. 3 of them for 30 total yards now. That was a 15-yard variety on the last penalty, which is their worst penalty of the game. Highland has had, 3 penalties in itself on that one scoring drive that led Butler to a 1st and goal from the second out of their pass interference. Again, there's still some confusion over the far sideline. I'm not sure exactly the whole situation, and based on this, maybe there's confusion with what I said, maybe a player being ejected from the contest, that the Butler player would be ejected from the game, but we'll have to wait and see. And it's going to be 1st down from the 44 after the personal foul. And I still don't see any player from Butler, meandering away off the field. So I don't know if that is the case. Obviously, apparently not, because nobody's left the field for the Grizzlies. So we set it up for 1st and 10 after all of that situation, trying to figure it out. It's the personal foul call on the Butler Grizzlies that gives Highland an opportunity to keep this offensive drive alive. 8:21 left to play in the contest. Highland down by a touchdown, down 6-0. The lone score coming in the second quarter with 5 minutes and 2 seconds on the clock. Isaiah Truss Oh, wait. There is a player now leaving the contest. Charlie Benton, one of the linebackers, has got his helmet on top of his head, slightly off, of course, but he is walking away from the sideline and off to this situation here. Spear in the shotgun right now, and Tristan will hand this off to D.D. Hall. D.D. now cuts back. Hall is going to be right into the second level at a cutback lane, but it was quickly taken away. Nice play by Jaleel Aldridge, also in on that tackle, Troy Dupree, but Hall gets a gain of about 3, 2nd and 7. This might be the drive for the Scotties right here. Take advantage of that penalty. You need to take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you. Trey Willis will be split out on the far side. Jamison goes in the slot. Ronnie's taking a couple big licks in this second half, but he's still out there ready to go, and he's quite muddy as well. He's got some nice stains on his pants and jerseys from the field conditions. Butler's going to call a timeout, it appears, in this scenario. So Butler wants to call a timeout, corral the troops, probably just kind of settle themselves down in this scenario after getting that player ejected in Benton as well. So a little bit of a surprise on how that unfolded in the grand scheme of things ultimately, but we're going to take a quick 30-second break. We'll be back for more action for Highland football on the Scotty Sports Network.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
So what keeps this drive alive is a personal foul penalty. I never heard officially what it was, but I'm going to venture to say what was a taunting call, and that was the ultimate reason for the 15-yard penalty that keeps this drive alive for Highland right now. Scotty's in Butler territory yet again. They've been there a couple different times, but stalled out once in the red zone as well here in the second half. 7:46 to play. Spear in the shotgun formation. 2nd and 7. Here's a snap handoff to Hall. Hall bouncing it out to the near side. Still staying alive. Churning ahead again. Didi continues to barrel his way, and he's going to have the first down. Hall continues just to lower his head and lower the boom and carry a few defenders with him, just keeping those legs churning, and he's able to get more yards and more yards after that. He's approaching the century mark, and I think with that opportunity and that carry, he does get to the century mark. 8-yard run by Hall gets him to an even 100. Net 98. He's gained 100 yards, so not quite to 100 yet. He's 2 yards shy on 15 carries for Didi here in this ball game. At 1st and 10 with just a little over 7 minutes to play. Spear in the shotgun, Hole to his hip pocket on the right. Twin receivers to the far side. Spear looking to pass. He's got his man. Howard's got a cut. He's at the 20, and he'll be wrangled pretty quickly after that, but down to around the 15 to the 16-yard line. Tristan Spear, quick strike to Albert Howard on a little slant pattern, and he's able to haul that in. Nice play there. Maybe dial that up again in some capacity, because that looks pretty good and had an opening lane for Albert Howard to haul that in the best situation passing-wise all day for Highland. Scotty's back in the red zone for the second time in this contest. D.D. Hall is the back right behind Tristan Spear after the 17-yard pass completion to Howard, who's split out to the near side. Spear hands it off to Hall. Hall gets the hole up the middle and pinballs his way again now through the Butler defense down to the 10-yard line. 6:25 and counting, and Highland looking and flirting with a potential score. They got the wind here in their favor, but want to visit the end zone because they're down by 6. D.D. Hall with 5 yards, sets up 2nd and 5. Jamison, the slot man, to the near side, or the far side, with Willis split out as well, that far side. Howard to the near side. Jamison goes in motion. They fake the handoff to him. Here's Hall. Hall, oh man, he had the hole, but he got tripped up and he lunged forward. D.D. Hall will be close to the first down, but I think he's going to be about a yard shy of accomplishing that feat and actually move it back a little bit. And Nice job by Burton to get the tackle for Butler. But big third down right now for Highland here. Tristan Spear getting the call. 5:35 and counting. The clock continues to churn. Scotty's on the move. But D.D. Hall had an opening gap. He thought maybe he could visit pay dirt for the first time in this game. D.D. just barfed back in the backfield. It's Tristan Spear now will go under center. 3rd and 1. Spear fakes the handoff. Now looking to pass. He's under duress. Slings that up into the end zone and incomplete pass. Spear wanting maybe a hit in the backfield, but not going to get it. Pressure was coming by Charles Cole and brings up 4th down. 5:13 to go. As Charles Cole was in on that and gave a good lick to Tristan Spear, who had to loft it over his head and, well, threw it out of bounds as well. Spear headed towards the sideline, and I think this might be alluding to a timeout called for Highland. You're in this peculiar situation. You only have 5 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the game. You're down by a touchdown. You have a 4th down. You have the wind at your back, so a field goal unit, it could come in and potentially try to kick this, for yourself. But, well, you're down by a touchdown, so a field goal gets you closer, but ultimately doesn't help you as far as take the lead. I think you're going to go for it here on this situation, but a big 4th down. So 4th down situation here for Highland, and they need about 2 yards to go to get this situation. 4th and 2 with 5:13 left to go in the 4th quarter, and ball on the 7-yard line of Butler. So 4th and 2 for Highland here with 5:13 to go in the 4th quarter. Ball on the 7-yard line of Butler right now. They turned it over on downs in the red zone once already. Turned it over on downs in Butler territory in the second half another time. Wasn't in the red zone, but it was a promising looking drive. This drive kept alive by a personal foul penalty on the Grizzlies, and Highland wants to make them pay for that foul to the tune of some points. So here comes Highland's offense back on the field. Willie Jordan will be the back in the backfield with Tristan Spear at quarterback. Trey Willis out there set to split out to the far side. And the offensive line looking to make a big impact on this play. You got to expect that you're probably going to go for the opportunity here. It's a long 1 yard, so call it 2 to get the first down. Spear in the shotgun. Again, Jordan is the back of the backfield. Hand off to Willie. Willie gets hit, but he lunges forward. I think he's got it. Butler, though, indicating again that they've got a stop on first down. And last time this happened, that was close. It was Butler getting it turnover on downs. We'll wait and see. And now referees come in and spot this one away, and we'll see where it comes from. Well, I'm not sure. Ball's putting at the 6-yard line. If it's at the 6, that should be a first down, at least from where the chains are on the far sideline. They're going to have to bring in the chain gang and measure this. With 5:09 left to play, it's 6-0 Butler in a big-time 4th down play run. Does Highland get the first down? That's the question. And the Scotties, well, they might be sure that Butler's over there right on top of the ball, saying that they were able to stop them in that situation. Resetting. They're putting the chains down. They stop them by a chain link again. Wow. Twice this time. It's a chain link that keeps Highland away from keeping the offensive drives alive in the red zone. Scotty's chain links away from keeping the drive alive for the second time in the red zone, coming up just inches short of keeping that. Willie Jordan just needed a nose, but could not get the extra inch needed. Butler will have the ball with just over 5 minutes to play in this contest, up by 6-0, and Highland desperately needs to get the ball quickly back in their favor. So Brady Huss, now it's Helbig, at the quarterback spot. Here's a handoff straight up the middle and stood up steadfast. Lauren Young and the defensive line in on that tackle. Multiple guys to bring him down. Gain of 1, but the clock continues to move as we've gone under 5 minutes to play. 6-0 it remains. Defense continues to play well for Highland, but they need another big stop. Called upon again is Highland's defense to make the big stop to get the offense back the ball once more. But Highland, man, can't be discouraged. If they get the ball back, they still have an opportunity in this ball game. Clock is now dwindled all the way down to 4:30, taking all the time that they can. Butler is watching the play clock dwindle down 4 seconds. They snap it at 4. Here's a pitch. Abrams has got it. A little scatter that time. Gets around from one guy and gets tackled after about 1-2 yard gain. But the clock will go under 4 minutes now, setting up 3rd and 7. So big 3rd down now here. Highland stops them. They'll force a 4th down and a punt to come on. You would think also that Highland may use a timeout, but they only have 1 remaining. So they may not use the timeout there. Still ample time, but we're under 4 minutes now to play. And the clock is not the friend of Highland Community College here at this point. Scotty's 2 opportunities in the red zone in the second half and come up short on 4th down plays by a chain link. And, well, the play clock comes down all the way to 0, but the timeout called by Butler to dwindle the clock down. They wanted to talk things over for this 3rd down conversion that they have. If you see Butler convert this 3rd down, it's not going to be over per se, but ultimately it's not going to be looking good for the Scotties as well. 3:18 left to play in this contest, and right now it is Highland Community College trailing by 6. Scotties down by 6 with just 3:38 remaining in the matchup, and we see how things are unfolded. But Highland hoping to have the ball back in another opportunity for themselves. Gonna maybe have to open things up. D.D. Hall has been very good in the second half for them. But right now the Scotties got to worry about getting that ball back first and foremost. 3:38 remaining in the game. A 3rd and 7 looming. And Highland's defense needs to stop Butler here. Will Butler go to the air? Maybe, I don't know. We haven't seen him do so much. Neither team has actually aired it out very much at all in this ball game. Passing yards were negative at halftime. They are positive now, but between the two teams, they've actually only attempted 17 passes. They do attempt this one. They're slinging down to the far sideline, up and one-handed attempt at the catch. Not going to get it. Dom Williams with good coverage. An incomplete pass. That will stop the clock too. 3:32 to go, and Highland will get the ball back on the punt. So opportunity for the Scotties to get the ball back here. They try for the pass down the far sideline. Good coverage by Dom Williams to break that up. And actually, it was really over the head of the receiver. He had to outstretch his hand and kind of had to stretch far out just to get his fingertips upon it. But ultimately coming up a bit short of completing that throw. 6-0. Right now it is, as penalty flag comes in. Yeah. Have delay of game on the Butler Grizzlies will move them back even further. So now here's the question. The ball, if that's the case, they'll mark it off and the ball will be inside the 5-yard line. Do you bring some extra pressure, try to block this punt because it would be right in the end zone to try to block that? 3:32 to go. Isaiah Gray back deep, but he's back only on his Butler 40-yard line. See if they maybe bring some pressure on the punting unit. They don't bring too much, and actually Butler's just going to actually take a safety and run it out of bounds. Wow. And there's a penalty flag coming in on the play, away from the actual play itself. And safety is going to happen, and with 3:25 to go in the game, Highland gets on the board because of a safety. It's 6-2, and there is a flag on the play. So team safety for Highland Community College to make it a 6-2 contest with 3:25 remaining in the game. There is the penalty flag, though, on the play. And going to be talking things over with head coach Aaron Arnold here on the near sideline to see what they want to do on this one. Penalty is going to be holding on Butler, and the result of the play is going to be a safety. So Highland gets points, basically just a token awarded points for Highland in this scenario. They get a deuce on the board, and it's a 6-2 contest as Highland Community College on the board. So Highland gets the safety with 3:25 left in the game. Butler still leading 6-2 though. So free kick will be coming here, and Highland will have the ball, but this is an odd, peculiar situation. Obviously, you don't get the blocked kick happening, so you avoid that type of scenario. Maybe you think that if you try to bring that block, and you also maybe don't give this good field position to Highland as well. So here comes the free kick, and free kick will be end over end, picked up by Ronnie Jamison inside the 25. He's bobbled. He's going to have to go back to the 20-yard line to pick it up. Jamison doesn't have much daylight to work with. Stiff arm, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds on the 20. Now 3:17 left to play, and it actually works out in Butler's favor. And there's extracurricular activities there going on. Everybody is on the near sideline getting into some heated conversations. Butler being pushed back, and penalty flag has come out. Head coach Aaron Arnold and his crew trying to corral his guys and get Butler out of the near sideline. So I don't know what this penalty is going to be. We'll wait and see. And head coach Aaron Arnold upset about how this one unfolded. Tristan Spears shaking his head in as well, and I have a feeling it might be on Highland that is going to hurt them even further. So what actually turned out to be an odd call because of the safety, it's you give points to Highland. It's going to work out in Butler's favor really good because they're going to have Highland pinned back quite a bit in the yardage capacity here. So you give up 2 points, you still lead, but you get the free kick, and now you're going to put Highland back inside their own 20-yard line tremendously, because they're at the 20-yard line now, but I think the penalty's on the Scotties too, and the Scotties continue to hurt themselves with penalties today. And, 3:17 left to go in the ball game. They're going to have to orchestrate an offensive drive that basically culminates in winning this ball game. And right now, referees conversing about this latest penalty call. And Butler's free kick after giving up the safety, or intentionally giving Highland the safety, is going to be pretty good for themselves, for Butler, because you pin Highland back to cover 90 yards so that to get a touchdown. Wow. Highland has to cover 90 total yards now for the Scotties. Just an unfortunate turn of events, let alone that you didn't have great field position because of the free kick, but then you get the penalty too on top of it, and that puts you 90 yards to cover to get into the end zone for a go-ahead touchdown and score. 6-2 after the safety. Spear looking to pass. He goes to the flat, finds D.D. Hall, but he's quickly brought down, and Hall will be knocked down around the 10. Clock will continue to churn as he stayed in bounds as we go under 3 minutes. Highland only has one timeout to work with here in this one, but still ample time, and you don't want to use too much time, but you have plenty of yardage to gain as well. So minimal gain on second down, actually no gain perhaps from there. Pass is going to be caught down the middle, and that is going to be brought down there, and that is hauled in that time. Driver hauled it in. Marcus Driver hold down that pass, third down, and Highland quickly in the hurry up. 2:32 left to play. Spear back in the shotgun. Twin receivers to the near side. Takes the snap, looking to pass. They'll go for it on fourth down, I'm sure. Spear trying to get away, and he's trying to look to run, but he got it there, held at gain of about 1 or 2 yards, and Spear was held up by his legs and was looking to pass, then brought it down to run, but multiple Butler Grizzlies were in on top of him, and now Highland utilizes their final timeout of the ball game and have a fourth down. And, well, Butler stops them here. That might be the ball game. This is a huge play looming right now on fourth down. Man. So how that all unfolds, Highland does great. The defense makes the stop needed. Going to force a punt from the end zone. Butler with a heady play, just surrendering a safety, then thus getting an opportunity to do the free kick, which would most likely pin Highland back further to cover more yardage, which it did. And then Highland had the penalty that backed them up even further. And now the Scotties are represented and presented with a fourth down situation right now here. 6-2, Butler owning the lead. Scotty's 2 losses by single digits. Lost 23-27 to Garden City at home. Lost 13-10 at Hutchinson. Butler's 2 losses by single digits as well. This is a 6-2 ball game here between these two teams. Both these teams have arguments of being undefeated perhaps on the season, but that doesn't matter right now. All that matters is the final 2 minutes and 16 seconds and this fourth down play. Spear looking to pass. He's got his man now. It's going to be incomplete. Oh, man. Pass in and out of the hands of the target as he could not hold on. As Albert Howard was the guy that had that, but he could not hold on to it. And the turnover on downs will give Butler an opportunity to be set up in prime field position for themselves, and that whole turn of events giving up the safety pays huge dividends for Butler here in this showdown. Scotty's struggling today, moving the ball overall yet again, and offensively today, not very efficient in third and fourth down situations. 2 of 11 on third down and 0 of 5 on fourth down. Helbig is out there at quarterback, hands this off to Abrams. Abrams got some space. He's going to get to the second level, be upended and brought down. Nice tackle by Rico Hanna. So gain of 5, 2nd and 5, but the clock continues to churn, and Highland's going to have to get some sort of turnover or something in this situation. They have no timeouts to stop the clock. And so Butler continues to let the clock dwindle down, and of course that's exactly what you want to do. You have 10 seconds left on the clock and a minute 35 left to play. Butler continuing to just hold on to the ball and hand off to Abrams. Abrams gets the handoff, wrestled down relatively quick again, but you got to get a hold of the ball, and that's what happens for Highland, because if they just continue to run the ball, well, you're not going to have an opportunity to get it back, most likely, because the play clock and the clock on the scoreboard, game clock, will be gone. Butler content with letting the clock continue to dwindle. We'll go under a minute here. So we're now at a minute and going under. Butler seeing the play clock dwindle down to 10 seconds. Now they line up in their offensive formation as Helbig goes back in the shotgun again, and the snap comes low. Helbig's under pressure, and he's going to be sacked in the backfield. And getting back there to get the sack. Nice play by Ed Rowe. Ed Rowe and company in on that sack, but again, 35 seconds to go, so not really much happening to ultimately matter the fact that, Helbig held on to the ball. So that's just going to see the ball be marked down, and they're going to have to make one more snap. Butler will, because the play clock is lower than the actual game clock in this situation. But unless you can get the ball to be turned over, Highland's going to fall to 2-3 on the season and just 1-3 in conference play. They will take the delay of game, and 1 second will remain on the clock So the delay of game happens, 1 second on the clock. And only 1 second remains in this game. And just snap it and probably, of course, just kneel it here. And you'll be good to go for Butler and send the Scotties to their third loss of the season. It'll be a tough one here. Highland played, to keep this in this ball game, but unfortunately going to fall. It looks like 2-3 on the season and 1-3 in Jayhawk Conference play. And for the third time this year, going to suffer a loss by single digits, as it'll be by 4 points or less for the third time here this year that the Scotties will have their third loss by here this season. Tough break for Highland again. They had 2 drives that stalled out in the red zone that were represented with 4th downs, and those 4th downs ultimately just chain links away from being converted upon to keep those drives alive, but those chain links being big differences in this ball game. Butler will line it up to put this one and the final tick off the clock, but that'll be the final second of the game, and Helbig will just run back and fall to the seat of his pants and get to the final second to come off the clock. So that will do it. A final score that you don't see in this normal showdown. Butler, though, goes on the road and comes here to Kessinger Field and takes down Highland 6-2. That's right, 6-2 the final score, as Highland falls to 2-3 on the season and 1-3 in conference play. We'll have post-game wrap-up, look at the statistics and more when we come back here on the Scotty Sports Network.
With 3:25 to play the ball game.
What is it that stays with Highland alums that make them want to come back and work there? Almost 40 Scotty alums are now Scotty employees, and that number increases every year. Highland President David Rice encourages and supports those who work there with a simple philosophy. You're hired to do a job, do it well. Supporting folks to do their jobs encourages them to meet Rice's simple but high standards. Consequently, Highland faculty, staff, and administration are all part of a supportive culture that helps each other do their jobs well. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
If you have heard stories about college debt and what it is doing not only to the student who borrowed the money, but also to families who co-signed those loans, you may have concern about your own college future. Check out the difference it makes to attend Highland Community College before transferring to a 4-year institution. Going to Highland will save you thousands of dollars in college expense. Literally, you'll be able to start your life after college without the burden of debt that is impacting so many families. Check it out at highlandcc.edu. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland Community College continues to make college more affordable. Administrated by Nelnet Business Solutions, HCC now offers payment plans. Any student taking an HCC course may finance their tuition fee and main campus housing via one of 3 different payment plans. Choose from day, evening, weekend, or online classes with one great low rate. Associate's degrees and transferable classes with financial aid and scholarships also available. Highland Community College. From here, you can see anywhere.
Highland's new precision agriculture program was designed for the farmer or related farm worker of the future. The future arrived quickly. Today's agricultural work goes beyond the field and barn to the computer, the satellite, the drone, the research lab. Aligning all these aspects precisely for the individual, field, and crop is provided by Highland's Precision Ag program. Centered in Baileyville at the College Western Center, this program can provide you with experience in understanding and applying modern farming methods. Check it out.
Highland Community College surprises a lot of people. Generally thought as one of the smallest, Highland is actually in the middle of the 19 Kansas community colleges in enrollment. Its Highland campus has a real college feel with housing, athletics, student organizations, theater, concerts, art shows, an operating farm, and distinctive academic programs in its regional centers that cover the college's 9-county service area in northeast Kansas. Viticulture, enology, precision agriculture, diesel, construction technology, early childhood. Check it out, Highland Community College, online at highlandcc.edu.
Welcome back here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith wrapping the action up here today from Kessinger Field as Highland falls to 2-3 on the season, 1-3 in Jayhawk Conference play, and they suffered their third loss in all three now by 4 points or less on the season. Scotty struggled moving the ball here today, and it continued to showcase itself throughout the course of the contest. They did get 2 points on the board, falling 6-2 on a team safety that was gifted by Butler, and it turned out to be a wise decision by Butler in the grand scheme of things because they got the free kick, pinned Highland back pretty deep to cover quite a bit of yardage to go to get a potential game-winning score, and Highland unable to accomplish that feat, unsuccessfully converting a fourth down that was presented to themselves, and final ticks were then taken off the clock by Butler in the showdown for this contest. But you dive into these statistics here today. It was Butler not moving the ball necessarily a multitude of yardage themselves. Actually, Highland ended up outgaining them on the day. Butler with just 103 total yards of offense and 56 plays, but 57 plays for Highland and 215 yards of total offense, 184 yards on the ground for Highland and 31 yards passing, 14 yards passing for Butler, and 89 yards rushing for themselves for Butler here today too. But they were able to ultimately make the plays needed and get into the end zone in that second quarter with Isaiah Truss, and maybe didn't move the ball much for Butler in the second half, but they didn't allow Highland to get to the ultimate opportunities for themselves either. Scotty's had 2 drives get into the red zone in the second half, and they both stalled out on fourth down plays that were about chain link inches away from being converted upon, and that's the separation perhaps of the final potential of how this game ended up. 11 first downs for Highland to 10 first downs of Butler, and actually a lot of the final statistical categories will be in favor of the Scotties, as I mentioned, as 184 yards on the ground rushing and 215 total yards to just 103 for Butler, as the defense continues to be spectacular for Nemaha Central, but the offense continues to find a fair share of struggles for themselves. Highland did have 1 turnover in the contest. Butler, who has been turnover plagued this season, did not turn over the ball today. As I was told, their quarterback Helbig was on a short leash. He did not turn the ball over, but they didn't put it in the air very much at all. They stuck to the rushing attack. They only attempted 6 passes, did Butler, and they ran the ball pretty effectively behind the 3-headed guy group of Abrams, Truss, and Shabazz in the contest, and utilized that and their defense to earn a 6-2 victory. Maybe not a pretty one there that you see, but it's Butler getting the win, improving to 4-2 on the season in the process. Some of the final statistics for Butler: Abrams finishes with 66 yards on 20 carries, 23 yards for Vinny Shabazz on 12 carries. Isaiah Truss with a touchdown on 9 carries. We had 22 yards. Chris Helbig did go 2 for 6 for 14 yards in the contest. Highland rushing-wise had D.D. Hall have a successful game, 17 carries for 106 yards for D.D. Willie Jordan had 74 yards on 15 carries today. Justin Ruiz, 4 carries for 12 yards. Tristan Spear was 8 of 15, passing for 31 yards, but he did have the interception early on in the first half. That did not ultimately lead into points, so they missed a 22-yard field goal, did Butler, early on in the game. You flip it over the defensive side of the ball, some strong defensive performances on both sides for Highland Community College. 7.5 tackles for Trey Barrett at that safety spot, 6.5 tackles for Rico Hanna, and 5.5 tackles apiece for Fofana and Hill here today, and Fofana actually with 4 tackles for loss on the day. Lauren Young with a block kick yet again, and he had 5 tackles, while on Butler's side, Will Honus, he played well. 12 tackles, a sack, and an interception. 6 tackles for Hanson Belton on the day, and Troy Dupree with 5.5 tackles for Butler in this one. But scoring-wise, there's only 2 plays to talk about there, as not much scoring happened in the first half, as Butler had an opportunity for a 22-yard field goal that came up empty off the interception from Tristan Spear. They did get to the end end zone on a drive that was, definitely helped out by some penalties in the contest as Isaiah Truss scores on a 2-yard touchdown run. PAT was blocked 6-0, and it would go to halftime via that score. Butler would give up a safety late, but they gave that to Highland in the showdown and made it 6-2. And that ultimately proved to pay dividends because they pinned Highland back deep, had to cover 90 yards to get into the end zone for a game-winning score, and Highland unable to do that, had a 4th down, and they turned it over on downs in the final minute of the game to fall short in this one, 6-2. Butler getting the victory here tonight. Stay tuned. We'll have the post game on Scotty Sports Network coming up in just a little bit. Head coach Aaron Arnold and a few players will talk about this contest against Butler and what they can take away from this one as they prepare for Independence, who will come to town coming up next week. We'll of course have that game on the Scotty Sports Network coming up on next Saturday. Thanks to all the guys that of course help out. My man Big Al doing a great job as always, helping out with the broadcast, and Tyler Nordman, the athletic director here at Highland Community College, and everyone else helping out for the fair here today at Kessinger Field. But the Scotties suffered their 3rd loss of the season, falling 6-2 to Butler at home. Again, stay tuned for the post game coming up on the Scotty Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in here on the Scotty Sports Network today.